should start looking like that. Look at the thing. What's this? Exclamation mark. My phone's telling me that I've got life. It's my phone. It's telling me. Saying I'm live. I'll be back in a couple of minutes and then we'll start the show. Yo, Jago, J2 Blue, engage. How are your names coloured in like that? Your names are coloured in. How is that possible? How are your names coloured in like that? The names are coloured. But the colours on the names. Was it always been like that? I don't remember the names being coloured before. Right, I'm going to take... Let me draw some persons a secret! Go for it! Is the pre-show still live? It's a goddamn pre-show. Oh, because you can't hear me on that thing. Oh, wait. Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to end the pre-show and I need to go into the main show. I think they can hear me on the stream, but you can't hear me on that thing. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go into the main show. Thank you for everyone who joined me for the pre-show, which went on for far too long. So I don't know if they can hear me on the stream, but you can hear me in here. But I don't know, because I'm not in the on-air room. So I need to go over to the on-air room. So I'll see you on the other side. Bye bye. Yeah, I was in the pre-show room. Audio will fight. Oh, okay. It just affects what they can hear or something. Yeah, I think it's just I spent too long. So you can leave the pre-show room now. Yeah, my pre-show went on for far too long. In future, I'm not gonna do it like that. I'm gonna try and divide up all this prep and stuff during the week, and not end up talking about Neko power and how I find the premise really gross. For like an hour. No, we've got the older Final Fantasy VII Lo-Fi. I don't know how that's sounding to everyone else. So now my voice is gonna start losing my goddamn voice already, because I've been pre-show went on for too long. So the Final Fantasy VII Lo-Fi. Do you like it? I really like this Lo-Fi mix. I think it's really good, personally. This, you know, other ones. We can try different ones next time and so on, but I really like this one. Okay, let me check the stream. Check this stream. Oh, I've got like 10 million windows open. I'm live now. Live? Oh yeah, I'm hearing double. I'm live now. Pause starts. Default views, I can see the chat. Since I'm not on mobile, I can use and shoot. Yay! Keycare. You can use tune. You can. I know it's you because I'm like, oh, who's Chow Hedgehog? It's Keycare. Keycare. Since I'm not on mobile, I can use the YouTube. So when you're on mobile, you're using Discord chat. Yeah, it kind of sucks the way it works. But yeah, now a tweet should have gone out that I'm live, right? Let me just check. I need to check the tweet. Did it tweet? There was an auto tweet that went out, right? Let's quickly check that. You can hear me fine, the levels are fine. Don't worry, the lo-fi is going to go off in a minute. We're not going to keep that. We'll look at that, what Jeff Grubb said. I'm going to forget about that. It tweeted me tweeting me. Right? Okay, yeah. So please retweet that tweet if you can. Please like and retweet. Oh my god, I had like a 2-hour pre-show. That's not happening again. That's not happening again. I'm doing that again. Okay. Let's get started. I love this life photo. Okay, oh, I didn't even check what's on the screen. Hello everyone, and welcome to another live stream. I know it's fire! I told you! It's fire, isn't it? Let's enjoy the lo-fi. I know it's good. Really, this Sephiroth one. It's like this is my absolute favourite one of this particular mix. But this is one of my favourite. The Sephiroth? The one-winged angel? It's good, isn't it? I don't know how loud this sounds to you. Maybe that sounds quite loud. Is that loud? It's good, isn't it? I listen to this when I'm studying as well. But we can't have it the whole show, J2. We had this in the pre-show the whole time, so I can't play this the whole time. But yeah, you can just enjoy it for a minute. So I can't see your comments. Hang on. That's why I don't want to download the YouTube app. Why not? I mean, it's not the best, I'm gonna be honest with you. But my favourite one is actually not even this one. It's the one that's on the first mix of it. This one. Yeah, the victory fanfare. So they've got the battle music. My favourite is you can see, look at the spike here where people have been playing it over and over again. It's the best one. So you got the end of this. That's the end of the battle theme, like the main battle theme, whatever. Ignore that. The next one, the best one is the victory fanfare. It's so good. I had this because I found a version of it just by itself. Unfortunately, it's only like 1 or 2 minutes long, but like I was playing it over and over again on loop because I love it so much. This one's my favourite one. This is absolutely sick. This is sick, this one. This is my favourite one. This is probably really loud for you. I was like, is it really, really loud? I'll turn it down. This one's my favourite one. This one's banging. Yeah, and then there's like a... Where's that other version of it? Yeah, anyway, this one's my favourite one. Out of all of them. But yeah, we're going to get the show started because I'm faffing around. We're turning that off. Okay. We're going to turn down the lo-fi. We're going to get started on the show. Next time, I find some others as well. This same person did like other mixes of other video game music. They do anime music and stuff as well. So that's cool. But yeah, we're going to start off as we always do with the Famitsu sales. Enhance. I need to zoom in. Now, unfortunately, I did maybe do the live show for too long, the pre-show. That's because I just got talking about stuff, but that won't happen again. So I don't have the most steam this week, so the show's not going to be crazy long. I am drinking Monster Energy Ultra, 0 sugar, the best flavour. So we had this week what I feel was a sleeper hit, and that is the Mega Man Battle Network Collection something. What's it called? Mega Man. It's called something completely different in Japanese. So obviously it's Rockman in Japan. It's not even Mega Man in Japan. It's Rockman. But anyway, the game's called something different there. But it doesn't matter. That does not matter. So I said I tweeted out that I thought this was going to be over 50k. It did turn out to be about 50k. I used Charts Japan's estimator. Shout out to Charts Japan. I know some people are kind of bitter about the Comeg, what do you call it? The Comeg, estimating from Comeg after they feel like they got burned with Fire Emblem, not Fire, was it Fire Emblem Engage? Everyone got burnt? Yeah, it was Fire Emblem Engage. Everyone felt that they got burnt, but it's still a really good predictor because it's right or close. It's close a lot of the time because of the sales history going back so far, and with this estimator, Charts Japan has like collated all this data going back along. They tell you how they do it here, and it means that I knew that for Switch alone, it was like it said 55,000. So like, okay, so it's definitely going to be over 50,000 on the Switch version. The PlayStation version estimate was like 7,000. I think it ended up, or was no 5,000. I think it ended up being 7,000. If we have a look on here. So we had that, but also the other thing is that there was a shortage of this game. It sold out. It sold out a number of places, and it definitely sold out Amazon because I checked on Amazon. Where's the other version? Not that one. The PlayStation one. Where's it gone? Where's it? Okay, yeah. The PS4 version was 7.8 thousand. And that one's not showing it sold completely through. So in this case, Comeg prediction was pretty spot on. Do you know what I need to do? I need to pop out that chat on this thing. Mega Man Sweep! Yeah. DJ Jody on the ones and twos. Yeah. That's my favourite. Oh my god, I've got that song stuck in my head now. Oh yeah, hit the like button. Hit like this. Let's get more people watching, because ain't no one gonna watch this crap. Who come in here? Nobody. Unless you help get them in. Nobody's coming over. Nobody comes. Okay. Just my train of thought. What was about? Oh, he's gonna pop out this chat. Pop out chat. Pop out. How do I pop out? Pop out. Okay, I popped it out. That should help me keep track of things. As we know, I'm working with one screen. This is why streamers have more than one screen, but I am not a streamer, so I don't have more than one. I don't have it. Okay. And I really should like not have everything open on here. Oh my god, I've got like 10 trillion things open. That was supposed to be in there. I didn't do it. That's what I was supposed to do. Was bookmark everything, and then once you've bookmarked it, you can just close everything down. That's the idea. I don't need all these. Need to be open. I don't. This is how prepared I am. I did all this in advance. You're not seeing it on the stream right now, so I did it earlier. You can't see it. Stop pretending you can, because you can't. I'm not going to use that one. Okay. So you know, like a sneak peek of these topics I'm going to talk about. Well, you know what the topics are anyway, because they're on there. They're on the thingamajigger. Okay. So yeah, Mega Man Battle Network Collection was #1, so 52,000 on the Switch, and it did sell out, and we'll see the results of the sellout further down the chart. #2 was Kirby Return to Dreamland, that sold 11.3 thousand. #3 is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, sold 9.4 thousand. #4 is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and I'm losing my voice, 1 second. I'm just using strepsils if you can hear that. What did I get to? #5 is PlayStation 4 version of Mega Man Battle Network Collection, the 7.8 thousand. #6 was Minecraft of 7.3 thousand. #7 was the PlayStation 4 version of Resident Evil 4, 7.1 thousand. #8 is Splatoon 3 with 7.1 thousand. #9 is Nintendo Switch Sports with 5.5 thousand. #10 is Dokapon Kingdom Connector? Dokapon Kingdom Dokapon Kingdom Connect with, this one didn't sell through very well, did it? 5.4 thousand. #11, we'll go over this one, is Atomic Heart with 4.8 thousand. I don't even know if a lot of people knew that one was coming out. I think it did. This already released in the West, and this is like later in Japan. I actually can't remember, or was it just released now in the West? I actually don't know. And so what I'll look at is that basically the other thing that charted was digital download codes. So these are codes that you can buy physically in the stores. And this is again for the Mega Man Battle Network Collection. So we need to add this to our total. And the download codes are in two, so I believe it's like that on the stores. Basically, it's in two parts, like a volume 1 and a volume 2. They did the other Mega Man collections like that. The differences with those ones was that I think the physical was split up as well, whereas this one they put it into one thing, physical. But there was a download code volume 1 and 2. And I see these are both for the Switch. #17 we have volume 2 and #17, 2.8 thousand. And then volume 1 was at #20 on the Switch, 2.2 thousand. So it's interesting to have volume 2 out. Maybe that one has the better games, I don't know. And volume 2 outsold volume 1. So that's the most what I wanted to go out. There was also some random ass visual novel. What is this? I can't read this. This translates. Oh no, why doesn't the thing translate on the translate thing on the page? Why doesn't it do it? Translate the whole page. How do you just get it to translate the whole page? Why won't it do that? Is it on it? Oh my god. More settings. Help. Not help. More tools. I thought you could translate the whole page. Oh my god, please explain to me how I translate the whole page. When you hit that translate thing, oh no, here it is. You've got to refresh. Dumb. Okay. This is called Shikigami's Castle 2. Well, there you go. I can tell you nothing further about this game, except for it is some visual novel. There was another one as well. This one kind of flopped. Battlefield Waltz for Nintendo Switch. So it's a re-release of something. Because normally when they add for Nintendo Switch or something on the end, it's a re-release of an older game, but this barely sold. 1,400 copies. Octopath Traveler 2 is just clinging on at the bottom here. 1,500 copies, and it's sold through. It's almost completely sold through now. So we'll have to wait and see. Can this hit 100k? It's at 89k now. Can it get part? Can it get to 100k? It will, but good lord, for a game this to crawl, like to absolutely crawl to 100k like that is, yeah, it's just sad state of affairs compared to what was going on. Some heads need to be knocked together at Square Enix. I don't know what is going on, how they messed that up when the game, by all accounts, this game is better than the first game. So a number of things have gone wrong for that to happen. Yeah, let's see if you made any comments. No matter how well Mega Man do, they will never do a Mega Man Legends 3. That's right. What was the one that got cancelled then? Was that a Mega Man Legends game? The one that was cancelled on the DS or something, and everyone was not happy about that. Is that what it was? I actually don't know. I know there was some cancelled Mega Man game, and people were unhappy. I don't know. Maybe it is that one. Okay. Yeah. Maybe this is like a test bed for what they're going to bring back or not. I don't know. I can't see them making more of these Mega Man network games anymore. But they might make a Mega Man Legends again. Maybe. That's possible. Now, let's talk about the hardware. For this I'm going to... God, what the hell? I'm going to open this, which is my thing, because I have this on here. It's easier to do it like this, because I don't know, for some reason when you do it on there, it kind of messes up. Right. Hardware this week. We need to get into this. Because we had the Switch sold 48.7 thousand. That's down on last week's 52.5 thousand. And the PS5 sold 47,000, down on last week's 46,000. Up on last week's 46,000, so it's up by 1,000. PS4 is around the same with 1.3 thousand. So it's selling over 1,000 weekly at this point. With these, I guess what was left over of the last batch of them that they made. Well, I don't know what's going on. Xbox is kind of cratered. I don't know. Now, my theory about it is that I think that demand has been satisfied for Xbox. I did tweet this out, that I think demand has been satisfied. I think it's done in Japan. I think that's it. I said outside of a few spikes, a max of 1k is probably what we'll get from now on. But let's talk about the... So there's nothing more I can say about... there's nothing more I can say about Xbox, because I just think it's dead. Maybe you say it's my personal opinion, but it's been like weeks of this now, of these low numbers. It doesn't seem like anything's going to change it. So I kind of thinking that its demand has been met. Sorry, Benji Sales, I cannot come to watch the chat because I'm doing my show. There's nothing I can do about that right now. That's Benji Sales. It's gone live. Shout outs to Benji Sales. Yeah. So I don't know what everyone else feels, but because this situation has been continued for so long, and we know that there's available, it's not like it's you can't get it. If you want to get this into Japan, you can get it. For the sales to be this low, 296, down on last week's 917. I mean, yeah, it's hella low. So, I'm pretty sure you can get hold of the Xbox. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I hear that you can get it in Japan. So, let's talk about what's going on with PlayStation 5. Because when you look at this, you might think, well, it's selling pretty well. It sold almost the same as the Switch. It's almost 50-50. And it sold more than last week, which was up on the previous week after it dropping week on week since those 90k weeks. So you might think, well, that's pretty good. Here's a problem. Here's a problem. So here's the chart. This is install base, okay? This is what I want to look at. Out of the top 30, 25 are Switch games. That's the first thing. Next thing we need to do, we need to look at, this is Niche Barrier. I really like this site because it makes it very quick and easy to do comparison between weeks. So even though the PlayStation 5 hardware has gone up, the software has gone down. Okay? So it's not even like it's selling in the same proportion with software to hardware week to week. The hardware is growing every week and the software is going down every week, which is perplexing, to say the least. So the software was already down on the previous week, we talked about last week, but let's talk about what's happened between last week and this week. So now we're in a situation where it's 85% Switch software, and then PlayStation 4 software, which was the majority actually out of PS4 and 5, 15,000. No, well, that's up on last week. Why does it say down here then? Well, okay, well that's up. Why does it say 9% and then 10%? Oh, because it's a bigger... Okay, never mind. PS4 is up. PS4 is actually up. But it's down as a percentage. Whereas PS5 is down. And down as a percentage. So that's just the way it's worked out on here. Because overall, more software sold. Altogether. Last week was 129,000. This week 174,000. Because we had a new release. Couple new releases, so that's what's made up that. So for this software to be this low is really concerning to me. For software to drop like this, PlayStation 5 software has dropped. PlayStation 4 software has seen a slight rise here, but again it's, in fact, hang on a minute. It's 13,000 last week, and this week it's 15,000 PS4. Mega Man Battle Network Collection sold 7,800 on PlayStation 4. So basically, that game has stopped it going down even more. So it's gone up by 2,000, but that sold almost 8,000. So that's like sorry, one sec. Sorry, I think it's going to be a short show today. Sorry about that, because My voice is not gonna survive. So yeah, that kind of staved off it being even lower, basically, is what I think has happened with that. Because if we look at the previous week, let me open that in a new tab. Oh, we can do tab. New tab. So this is last week. And so you can see what I mean here about the software. So 2 weeks ago, PS5 software was 32.8 thousand, then it dropped to 13,000, then it's got up to 15,000. And PS4 was 24.5 thousand, dropped to 13,000, and then dropped again to 11,000. That's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. Roche says they will re-release this collections now on next-gen hardware and on new console of Nintendo, or for the sake of money. Probably, yeah. Oh, re-release this one? No, not that. No, this one has just come out. I think they'll re-release this one again on next-gen hardware. Or then put it on PS5. I think if they wanted to put it on PS5, they would have just put it on PS5. I think the reason there's no PS5 version is because it doesn't make any sense to make a PlayStation 5 version when it wouldn't look any different, because it's the GBA games and you can play them backwards compatible, so there's no point. Because if they want to do that, they have to pay for all the certification, everything all over again for a whole nother SKU. It's counted as a separate thing. You have to pay for all of that. And porting the game and everything. Why do that when PlayStation 4 version can do the same thing? So yeah, that's the comparison I wanted to make. With hardware, we can see this week. So here's this week. It's like 50-50. We can see this is how the pie chart looks now. Hardware is 50-50, software is not 50-50. That's all that can really be said about that. And it was like the same last week, basically. Switch sold slightly more. Xbox is created. It doesn't even show up on here. You can't even see it. You can barely see it. Look at that. You can barely see it. What the 2DS? Can we turn these off? Now you can see it. It's 296 to 114. What? And then bye bye. So yeah, that's PlayStation 4's 1300. Yeah, so we're not going to dilly-dally this week because my voice will not hold out. So yeah, this Senjo no awards for Nintendo Switch. What did it translate to on this thing? It wasn't that. It was something else. What did it say? Battlefield awards for Nintendo Switch. I guess Senjo means battlefield. Okay, well, that's what it is. So let's move on to our next story, and that is Sega bought Rovio, the company behind Angry Birds. I have that here. They agreed to buy game maker Rovio, a company known for Angry Birds and mobile game. Well, Angry Birds is their biggest thing. Was around before even smartphones. It was just on flip phones, I think. And it became a big franchise that spawned films, a whole bunch of merch and stuff like that. So let's take a look at this. Let's look at this here. Xbox Sweep. It says Keycare. What's Xbox Sweep? The yeah. Sweep. Okay. Yeah. If nobody can join me on this show, this is not going to be a long show. I can tell you that now because I'm really losing my voice. The maker of Angry Birds games agreed to be bought by the gaming giant behind the Sonic the Hedgehog character. Japan's Sega Sammy Holdings is paying 706 million euros, which is 625 million pounds. Oh, you probably can't see this; it's too small. Oh. Rovio has said Angry Birds was the first mobile game to be downloaded 1 billion times, and the brand has also produced 2 Angry Birds movies. Sega is seeking to tap into Rovio's expertise in mobile gaming. Sorry. So when this news broke, I saw a lot of people saying, why would they buy them? What's the point? To make money. It's the obvious answer. Also, it's a mobile company when most of Sega's mobile games haven't been like huge, gigantic hits from what I remember. The Sonic ones weren't huge hits. I know they've got that SMT one that's been running for years, but I don't know if they're making tons of money out of that. Probably not. Roche says, I feel that Xbox should buy EA now so he or they can get a foothold on Japan because of Apex? Huh. Well, I'll tell you what, Roche, there is absolutely no way they're going to be able to buy EA. It's literally impossible now. Because regulators will let Activision Blizzard pass. There's no way they're going to let them buy 2 major publishers. It's just not going to happen. In my opinion, I think this is literally 0 chance of that passing. And I don't think they would attempt to buy them. Royce, do you want to come on here and save my voice? I'm not sure I can continue the show, to be honest with you. Time to get rid of the Sonic Angry Birds is the real mascot of Sega now. No, the real mascot of Sega is like... what's that, Total War? Whatever those PC games that they have. American Sonic mobile games are huge. And they also have Hatsune Miku mobile. That's true, they've got the Hatsune Miku mobile. Maybe the Sonic mobile games are big, but they weren't... I don't know if that in terms of like actual revenue, when you look at these charts, Kika, they're not like high up in the revenue in these charts that you can see of what revenue that these different mobile games are getting. Is anybody going to join me on the Discord, on the call? Because I'm actually going to have to cut this show short. I'm not seriously losing my voice. Do I need to join to explain Sonic Mobile? Yes, can you please join? Please. I literally think my voice isn't going to survive. Hang on a minute, let me go and take some cough medicine. Okay, I'm back. I took some medicine, but I don't know how much it's gonna help. Cause I don't have a cold. Cause I've explained this before. I've got a condition called Sjogren syndrome, and that is why I'm losing my voice right now. So, yeah, Kika, can you join? Oh, Kika's here! He's come to save me! Kika! Kika, thank you for coming.
Hello?
Hello, Kika!
Can you hear me?
I can. I can hear you perfectly well. The chat will have to
Okay,
let me
good.
know if they can hear you fine. Maybe I'll raise your volume a little.
Raise
Yes.
my volume.
No,
Let me see,
sorry.
cause
No, I raised your volume. I said I raised it.
oh,
It's okay. So that people can hear you. Hopefully they can hear you. Okay, so you want to talk about Sonic Mobile. Now you are claiming that these Sonic Mobile games are big. I somehow doubt
well
it, but carry on. I don't think they are.
the American made ones. I know, cause they had a like Sonic team made a mobile game and that flopped. That flopped. But I mean, like
Oh,
the Endless Runner one,
uh huh.
that one makes Sega a lot of money. And then they made a version of that for Sonic Forces, and let me tell you, that is still running to this day and it's still a Sonic Forces tying game.
Still a what?
So much they made a Sonic Forces tying endless runner,
Oh, okay.
and that did so well that it's still running to this day. To the fact that
Hmm.
they had a Sonic Frontiers event. Let me repeat that: the Sonic Forces tying game had a Frontiers event.
Well, I should think it should if you're releasing a console game of a same franchise, then they should always do tie-ins.
Yeah, but they didn't make a Frontier tying game. They made an event on the Forces tying game. That's how much that game is successful.
The Forces one.
Yes.
Okay, so now let me look at this. So I'm just trying to find the top. What was that? There was this site I used to go on that would also always tell you this has only got the top 10 in there. What was that site I used to visit? I don't know the bloody name of it
I
now.
tried to look at Sensor Tower, but apparently that's like semi-locked.
What's it called again?
Sensor Tower. I tried to
Yeah,
look at Sensor Tower.
that's the one I'm looking at. But I think that you're right. It is semi-locked. You can only get the top 10 now, which I can see here. Obviously, that's not going to
You
tell us
can
anything. Yeah,
you can search for
I'm looking at top 10 right now on the screen on the stream.
yeah. You can look for publishers. Like I just looked for Sega, but they only do like the last month
No, I need the
for that.
comparison. I think it was called. What was that site I used to visit? Oh my god, I've forgotten the name of it. Mobile game revenue chart. Oh my god, what was the name of that? Was it this and they changed the name of it to something else? But it used to be called something different. Is it this one? I don't think it's this. No, it's not statistical. It was an actual site. Maybe it was this and they changed the name of it to something that I can never remember. I can't remember the old name either.
They have this Pocket Gamer.biz article that says Sonic Dash has generated more revenue than the last five Sonic games combined. And that was 2020.
I'm looking at this.
Um, says according to Sensor Tower, the five Sonic the Hedgehog's five mobile releases have generated 8 million $726,000 on the past 6 years.
Hang on, it rated how much?
Like almost 9 million. I mean,
9 million?
I'll put the article, but it's over 6 years.
That's just 9 million. What 9 million? What? Not
Dollars.
not 900. Not 99.
No, 9 million. Almost 9 million. I put the
Over 5 years?
yeah.
That's nothing, Kike. That's literally nothing.
But like it said there, that's the most. That's before Frontiers, and that's the most money Sonic has ever made.
Yeah, there's nothing. There's like a complete, utter, total flippity flop nothing. Mobile games, yeah, I think it's this site. Is this it? Well, this is close enough. Can I change by region? Readable store. Usage rights publisher, store rank, change. How do I change by region? Oh, yes, here we go. Okay. Yeah, so hang on. So here's the United States, we're looking at on stream. With the top, this is for, I guess, now. This is current. Last date updated April 19th. Candy Crush is the top. This is why Microsoft wants king. Candy Crush is top. And there's a whole bunch of like these ultra casual games or casino games, Gardenscapes, Solitaire Grand Harvest, Pokemon Go number 11, another Candy Crush at 12, a whole bunch of like these are the top grossing games. Triple Match, Pop Slots, Cash Frenzy, Casino Slots. Like they're just that ultra casual kind of games. Free Dice, Call of Dragons, Goddess of Victory, Nike, Dice Streams, Rise of Empires. So that's the top 50 for the US. So you can change country to any country. That's the US. But I think if you change to like Canada, you can see something probably similar to what. Oh, it looks almost the same. It's almost no difference. It's different, but not much.
Yeah.
I think it's when you end up putting in Asia that the countries look different. Indonesia. Let's see. Oh no, you have to hit go, so that's why it looks the same. Sorry. Okay, so Mobile Legends Bang Bang. It's number 1. This is Indonesia.
Mobile Legends. What?
So it's a lot of the usual subjects. Genshin Impact. Where was Genshin Impact on the US one?
I think it was like it was below Pokemon Go. I think 14.
Oh yeah, 16. Now here's the thing.
Okay.
Right? Let's look at the United States again. Let's look at what is here. We can look at publishers and see how many of these are Sega games. I'm not seeing any so far. And this is what I'm talking about. You know, there isn't a single Sega game in the top 50. But mind you, I don't know that Rovio is doing that hot either.
Before this news, the last thing I heard about Rovio was that they were delisting the original Angry Bird games because they were negatively impacting their newer games.
Dang.
So they were getting rid of, because the old ones were just like 99 cents and then you get everything, right?
Yeah, because it was like for flip phones and that, right?
And then the newer ones are more like the modern ones where you have a bunch of stuff to buy. And so people were actually just buying the old ones and not buying the new ones. So they were taking up the old games.
Sorry if people can't see this on stream if it's too small. I should have made it bigger. Get rid of this stupid thing in the middle. So yeah, I don't see any Rovio published game in this top. Let me look again. This is the top 50 for the US. I don't see Sega or Rovio on this list. This is what I mean about when it comes to, because if you're not in the top 50, it's not. If you're saying that Sonic game made 8 million in 5 years, it's like, I'm surprised they haven't shut that down. It's like literally nothing.
Games, oh no, they're still going to this day. They're still making stuff for those games.
If it's only it can't only be making like $1 million a year. They must be making more than
Oh,
that. Because why do you shut a game like that down?
I don't know if they count like because I know the big thing is that they go by ads instead of like purchases.
Right, but even from the ads generate revenue. So what is the
Yeah,
revenue they're getting? Only 8 million?
for the last that's what I got from the article.
That's like in terms of mobile games, that's like a flop. I'm surprised at that. If that's correct, what you're reading there, Kiko.
Or maybe the article is like a point. Maybe for Sega, it's like that's more than any Sonic game that's ever made. So we're happy.
How could that be more than any Sonic game ever? If Sonic games make more than $8 million in 5 years,
A single Sonic game. Oh,
that's
like I said, there's a reason why we're still celebrating that Sonic Frontiers is in the MPD. There's a
right.
reason
But
why
even
we're
that's
still.
flopped because remember one thing I saw about what Nintendo's mobile games do not. When I say not do well, I mean
Oh,
in terms of
don't get
mobile games, right?
don't get me started on the Nintendo mobile games. Don't get me started on
Nintendo mobile games have no, someone made a chart of it revenue. Um, I've, you got to look at it in terms of mobile games and what would be the kind of the expectations from what they would get, from what they should get,
Mm-hmm.
and what they're making. Because they're saying, look, they've only just got to 1 billion lifetime. Now you think that's like a lot in terms of mobile games? Like that's not they're, they're seeing years though, and over multiple games, and it's almost all from Fire Emblem Heroes. That's the other thing. You'd think, oh well, Mario is the bigger IP. Animal Crossing is a bigger IP, but look at this chart. Look at the one that's going to generate all the money, and that took years and years and years and years. All these ones are basically, it's not that much money for in terms of a mobile game and what you'd be expecting for a mobile game, especially what you think that something like an IP like a Mario should get. It's not a lot. If you want to know the reason why it's almost all from Fire Emblem Heroes, that's because
Because it's a
Fire,
gotcha.
Fire Emblem Heroes was a gacha game from the start. Unlike
Mm-hmm.
with Super Mario Run never was.
Yeah.
Because Nintendo tried to be they were tried to be the nice guy and make a normal game and it didn't work. Right? So this data goes through to where 2020 this is 2020, so it's a bit out of date. Dragalia Lost, as we know, has closed down since then. So Dragalia Lost at this point had made more than these games. Mario World, look, got 4.8. That's what I'm saying. I'm surprised that you're saying that Sonic game is still going. Mario World with 4.8 million got shut down. That's what I'm saying. In terms of mobile games, there's hardly anything. Super Mario Run is still around. The only reason I think that game is still around because it's not being supported with new content. Whereas all these other games, they work as a kind of a live service thing. So Super Mario Run is, they're not putting new content into it. So it's not costing them a lot to run it. Whereas these Mario Kart Tour, Dragalia Lost was shut down. That wasn't making them enough money. Mario Kart Tour didn't start off with gacha. They added gacha to Mario Kart Tour. They added gacha to Animal Crossing Pocket Camp that originally did not have gacha. Fire Emblem Heroes was gacha from the start, unlike all these other games. The only other game they have apart from this, they have obviously that what's it called, Mimotoro or whatever, is not on this. That was shut down, and they have Pikmin Bloom that's made with Niantic. Which I think is maybe published by Niantic. But anyway, oh no, it might be published by Nintendo. But anyway, it was not on this list because this predates that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, in terms of mobile games, like Nintendo's mobile games aren't successful. In mobile game terms, this isn't success. And I'll tell you why I think that is. Despite these IPs being mammoth IPs and why they're not making not that much, why it's not doing that well. I think because Nintendo is trying to approach the mobile market the same way they make games for consoles, the same way they do their games for consoles, and you could see that with the very first game was just a complete game, and then they went into like, oh, we need to do gacha, we need to do this, that, and that, and they did that, but they're still holding back they're not as. I know it sounds surprising. They're not as completely. They could be way more slimier with the games than they are, and they're not doing it. The other thing is that I think they don't have third-party advertising in the games because they want to control. They don't want random, hentai ads coming up. So they control what's in there. So I think they don't have third-party ads in their on their games. So, and I think the other thing that happened was that they had to start doing these mobile games because the Wii U flopped. And the 3DS did okay, but not as, it could have done better. They started doing this one, they had a lot of pressure from investors. And I think what happened once the Switch took off, and they're like, we are making like way more money with the Switch. And in fact, what happened, the reverse of what they wanted to happen happened. What they wanted, and what they still want, I think it's still their goal. They want these, well, that was largely their goal, but they had to pivot. You can tell they pivoted, and they realised, oh, actually, that's not working. They wanted these mobile games to entice people into the console games, right? So you got to the IP on the mobile, you're like, oh, let me go and buy a Switch and go and get the full game, and go and get a full, full price game. The opposite of that happened, and you can tell that happened with Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. It's been around for years. It's like more than 6, maybe 7 years old at this point. So it long predates Animal Crossing, New Horizons on the Switch. But what happened was, when that game came out, because it was such a phenomenon, people bought that game and then went and played the mobile game. That's not what they wanted to happen. They wanted people to play the mobile game and then go to the console game, and the opposite happened. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. You're really bloody quiet. Crazy. Rex says crazy. Maybe they bought Rovio to something they're dedicated mobile developers. Yeah, so to bolster their mobile games. So the opposite happened with that, and that's why I was surprised they even came out with Pikmin Bloom. Cause I'm like, what? Because like the premise of the game is even less enticing than like a Pokemon Go, and every that type of game that every one of those type of games like the Disco, like it was like there was a Harry Potter one, there was a Witcher one, there was all different ones. There was, I think there was a Minecraft one. I don't think that was I think that was just Microsoft. Every one of these kind of Go AR games that they've tried to make, none of them have been successful from Niantic. I was also surprised they went with Pikmin, which isn't a big IP, and I think they want to grow the IP, which is why they figured. So they're trying to do the same thing. Let's make this mobile game to get people into the IP, and then they'll go and buy Pikmin 4. That's the idea. Nintendo had a pivot. It didn't work. We know it didn't work. Because what example I just gave you, the other example I gave you to give is Mario Kart Tour. Mario Kart Tour, they started making all these new tracks and stuff for it. I do not think they originally started making those tracks thinking they're going to put them into a booster course and have to do that. I think they did that was because they spent all this money on Mario Kart Tour. That game wasn't making what they thought it had to make, and they needed to make. We've made all these courses, all these assets and everything. We need to make them make more money, and I think that's when they decided to put them into because think about how old Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is, to be putting DLC into a game that was also already the deluxe version of the game with a DLC from the Wii U version, and put more DLC into it years later. I think that was a pivot from Mario Kart Tour not doing what they wanted it to do. Don't forget, Mario Kart Tour did not start off with that gacha, and then recently they took out the gacha. I think recently they took out, wasn't that a thing? They took out the gacha?
Yeah, they did. They did.
They took it out. Why did they take out the gacha? Because there was a ton of, but the thing is, the criticism of that game went on for a long, because the gacha was in there for like a couple of years. The criticism of that game went on for a long time. But people were just like, oh, this is awful. You can argue Nintendo wasn't doing anything different than any other mobile developer. But it's Nintendo, and people have a certain, they think of Nintendo being wholesome and stuff like that. So it really rubbed people the wrong way. When it was Mario, funny enough, when it's Fire Emblem, people just don't care. It's like, I don't even know what Fire Emblem is, I don't care. They don't think. Fire Emblem is Nintendo. They've had that for 35 years. They don't think that. People think Nintendo. They think Mario, so they can get away with it. Fire Emblem Heroes, because people, even though it's Nintendo IP that's been around for decades, a lot of people haven't even heard of it, and a lot of people that are playing this game probably didn't even know it was a Nintendo thing. I think that's part of it. So you can say so. Yeah, Dr. Mario World was shut down. Super Mario 1, they gave up to it, didn't add any more content. Mario Kart Tour, they had to pivot and use that content and put it into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Dragalia Lost was shut down. Animal Crossing Pocket Camp is still going. I think they're adding new content to that. I'm not sure, but again, that didn't do gangbusters. It got a boost because of the reason that's still around is because it got a boost because of New Horizons, and the one that was the one that did well was Fire Emblem Heroes. Yeah, sorry, I interrupted you. Go on.
No, yeah, I don't wanna start my whole bandwagon of Nintendo Mobile since.
Please go for it. Go.
Listen, I was there on Dragalia day one. I was there until the bitter end. And I saw the freaking Nintendo being like, "Oh, we don't wanna make money from these games. We just wanna have them sign up for our Nintendo accounts, and then the
Okay.
developers."
No, I do have to interrupt. Right? They had the whole thing because I know the DNA were like, well, we could make more money, but Nintendo's holding us back. Dragalia Lost in the first place was a pivot. Dragalia Lost in itself was a pivot, because think about it, they did like these games, which were just existing Nintendo IP. They wasn't making enough money from that. Dragalia Lost was a pivot. They made an original IP, right, that was more geared to the mobile audience. You know, this kind of anime type look. Well, like Fire Emblem Heroes done well, but we don't have loads of IP like that. We need one that's made for mobile. They got DNA to come in and do this. So that in its Dragalia Lost was a pivot. That was a pivot because the other stuff wasn't working. Then the one that was a pivot has been shut down. Anyway, sorry, go on.
No, yeah, I mean, you are right, because that was like the first time they said we were partnering with someone that's not Niantic. It's just that, man, when they closed Regalia Lost, they were like, "Oh, we just want to focus on mobile games based on our IPs."
Yeah,
and then everybody in the comments were like, "Then why did you greenlight it in the first place?"
Because the ones they had weren't making money. Then what happened was, after the Switch came out and the games were the Switch was doing Game Pass, they didn't have to rely on mobile anymore. They thought this was going to be a major revenue pull. We don't have to rely on mobile, and they saw what happens with Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. That game got more popular after New Horizons came out, which doesn't make that complete backwards from what you want to happen, from what they wanted it to happen. You know, and so at that point they didn't mind shutting it down.
Because they gave us so much free stuff. There was literally no reason to spend money on that game, and I'm like, man.
Right, and DNA complained about that, right? They said something.
It was side games.
Oh, sorry, was it side games? Sorry, so why was I saying DNA? Just the correct
DNA made everything else.
They made everything else. No, it was side games. Sorry, side games, not DNA. No, they did something else with DNA. Is it DNA or DNA? I never know. Whatever it's called. No, Psy Games. Yeah. No, you're right. It was Psy Games. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Oh man.
I tried that game out. I didn't think it was very good. But okay, that was just me. But...
Oh man. That was...
Oh no! I tried it out and I'm like, this kind of sucks. But, you know, I'm not. There's only certain mobile games that I can get down with.
Yeah, me too, and that was the one. That was the one. Oh,
that was the one for you, right?
Yeah.
They shut it down. So when you look at it, what's surviving? Oh no, carry on with tell me about the mobile games. So Dragalia Lost, we can put a big old cross through that. That one's gone.
So basically, Fire Emblem's not going anywhere. Animal Crossing, I don't know. Mario Kart's probably gonna stick around. Mario Runs
because it's gonna stick around because of they're using the tracks in that and also Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's the same
because
team, as far as I know,
because
that's making them.
because nobody wants to accept that Mario Kart Tour is Mario Kart 9. Nobody wants to accept
Right.
that.
It's not.
It is.
And the reason that we
It,
know it's not is because if it was meant to be that, they wouldn't have put all those tracks into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
but
If
in
it was
Mario
meant
Kart
to.
8 Deluxe, they put up it's Mario Kart Tour, so it is the main line Mario. They consider Nintendo
Yeah, but that
considers
doesn't
that the next.
that doesn't mean that it's Mario Kart 9 though.
Yeah, it's gonna. Whenever we get the next one,
It's
it's
a,
gonna be.
they're not
It's
gonna
gonna be
call it
called.
10. That's what
It
you're
is gonna
thinking.
be.
No, they won't call it 10. If it's numbered, they'll call it 9.
Oh man, there's gonna be a
I
lot
think
of.
so. You're wrong about that, just like you're wrong about Final Fantasy 16 700k in Japan in the first week. But anyway, I rest my case. Well, I will rest my case when I win the install-based box. That's when my case will be rested.
That's wait, yeah, but freaking Rovio. Well, I don't know why Sega's buying them. I mean, I know why. It's just that why Sega? Like, why is Sega the one that reached out to Rovio and not another
That's an
company?
interesting
Why not?
question because I think there were other bidders. There were other bidders. It wasn't just because in the first rumors that came out, it was someone else that was trying to buy them, and I think they got outbid by Sega.
Because when the first report came out from the Wall Street Journal,
Mm-hmm.
the first number that they said was they're paying $1 billion for Rovio, and everybody's like, where are they getting this money? Because Sega Sammy's I think net worth is like 4 billion, and they're gonna spend like a quarter of that on Rovio.
Yeah, well, I think people are just looking at it too simplistically. If you're just looking at the net worth, which isn't accurate, which is not
Mm.
like doesn't mean like that's just because it's worth that amount that money on paper, and that's based on like market cap and everything, which isn't the same as. That doesn't mean that's how much money they have and how much money they have access to. And that doesn't mean that companies that can't also borrow money as well. So I don't. And the thing is, it's like. Also, we don't know. First of all, this says it's 706 million euros, 625 million pounds.
Yeah. So that's the final number that they got.
So
The,
does
the
that
first
work out
number.
as $1 billion?
No. The $1 billion came from the Wall Street Journal. They were
So
the
it
ones
wasn't
saying,
that, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
it
But
was less
now,
than that anyway.
yeah, but now we have the final number from that Sega, um, that Sega is offering for Rovio. The moment they said, they responded to the article saying, we have nothing to announce. We will be discussing this issue at the board meeting we're having today. And I was like, oh no, this is happening. This is happening.
Yeah, it happened, and you're like, okay, so why didn't another company, if these mobile things, there's so demand, and Angry Birds is not as popular as it was, but it was really popular. Why did Sega Sammy not get outbid for this?
Hmm.
And there were other companies in the running. It's not like they were just a first offer and that's what they went for. They had to negotiate. But it's no one else thought it was worth more than what Sega paid for it. No one else was prepared to pay more, and in a sense, Sega's taking a risk because I mean, what does this company Rovio really have that's big apart from Angry Birds? And I just pointed out, we looked in the top grossing games. There's not a single Rovio game in the top
No.
50 grossing games for the United States, and it'll probably be the same if I look at other regions. That's the United States. Why has this gone small? Oh, that's because I've messed around a bit. If I change the region, I was thinking we need to change it to like Korea or somewhere. Korea? No, not that one. The other one. Not that. The good one. Where is it? Shouldn't it be here under South Korea, South Africa? Then you go here, Korea,
Sure.
Republic of Korea. That's the other one, isn't it? That's North. Isn't that North Korea? Or maybe that one isn't. Oh,
Mm.
never mind. Is it called the Republic of Korea? Anyway, uh, yeah, there's a bunch of Korean games I've never heard of.
Mm.
uh, yeah, I was saying only Rovio. Next on.
No, yeah, I know. Before when did they? I don't remember when they like when the shift happened because I know like the early days of the App Store, it was like Angry Birds and then Angry Birds season and then whatever Angry Birds Star Wars, Angry Birds
Oh
whatever
god, they
else they
did do
had.
all that, didn't they?
Yeah, I know that was like in the early days that was Angry Birds was the number one mobile
It was
game,
big.
like period.
I think it has
But I
not
don't know.
been the number one mobile game for a very long time, and I think the company, I think this is why they wanted to sell out, sets to sell up.
Yeah, I
Genshin
know, and I
Impact is
know.
the number one game in Japan.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see what Sega is going to do with them. Technically, it's not official until like September. They
Okay.
said that they still had to do some regulatory stuff, but after September, like yeah, Sega
Oh
can
wait,
start
wait, look,
making
this is the
those
Hatsune
Persona
Miku
and Angry
game,
Birds
isn't it? Or
crossovers.
this is Hatsune Miku, this one. So Sega has one too. Or
Well,
what's
yeah,
this other one?
that's an Amigo. That's an Amigo.
And what is this? Pro Soccer.
Oh, that's what they have a soccer franchise. What they call it? Touch Manager.
Yeah, but
Sega
then.
has a a soccer, but it's more like you're the manager managing the soccer.
Oh, okay. I don't think that's what this is.
If it's a soccer, that's the only soccer franchise Sega has.
No, it's something like. Oops. Yeah, they don't even acknowledge that those a lot of those European games exist in Japan. They literally don't even acknowledge them. I've noticed that. With Sega, if you follow the main Sega Twitter account, they don't acknowledge Sega Europe. Almost never. What the hell? I can't even see anything about it here.
I don't know data, not enough data, not enough data.
We opened up a new window. Yeah, so you have to come into here to the Japan chart to even see any of Sega games in the top grossing games, and it's only a couple.
Yeah. I know. I remember they had a like years ago. They had like a chart of like their mobile games at the time, and they had
Who?
uh
Sega?
yeah, they had like in one of their old investors reports. They had like they categorized their mobile games between like overperforming, performing, and not performing.
Okay.
Um, and that's how we found out the Sonic team made Sonic mobile game was getting shut down because that was not performing um,
Okay. Must have made first
to their
impression.
liking. Yeah, but it's pretty old, like it's pretty outdated by this point, so that's why I never
Okay.
brought it up. But we shall see what they do. They can always start putting Angry Birds in their crossover games.
I mean, probably, but Rovio as a company, what do they like own other than? See, I don't think they bought them for their IP. I think they bought them from their mobile expertise.
Yeah, but
Angry Birds Dream, Angry Birds Journey. All I'm saying here is Angry Birds.
yeah, all that's
That's
literally it.
mainly
It's
that.
all.
That's it. So I mean, they didn't buy them just for Angry Birds. About. That's pretty much it. Yeah, there's no other. Don't show anything else there. So it's just those mobile games. This is when I remember Angry Birds being popular. It's never been as popular. They made the movies, but it's still. Yeah, I mean, because all they have is Angry Birds. I think they bought them for their mobile expertise. They didn't buy them for IP. Because why would
I mean,
you?
I think that's part of the deal. It's that plus Angry Birds. I mean, still, It's not unrecognizable. It's not. It might not be the most popular, but it's still not
Because all Sega
unrecognizable.
has, like in terms of like their most popular mobile game is that Hatsune Miku one, right? And
In Japan,
right, that's what I'm saying. Not worldwide. It's only popular in Japan and nowhere else, right?
yeah,
Where did it go? This
it's like
one.
number 15.
Yeah, this one here. This is not popular any like that anywhere else. I wish I wouldn't put this thing in the middle like that. I'll make it smaller. Uh, so let's see. By country, look at this. By country, it's number nine. It's number 9,086 in the United States. 9,086 in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you can see usage rank and Google Play rank, and then compared on in. Look, here's the numbers. Look, 7,615 in Canada, 9,000 in the United States, 11,694 in United Kingdom, 43,544 in France. This is not popular at all worldwide, at all, at all. And in Japan, it's number 27. So they wanted to invest into mobile games. That's what it is. No, the mobile games they have that. They have a couple of Sonic games, like Football Manager, whatever it is, soccer games. They have, and that SMT game. I don't know what else they have apart from that in terms of mobile games.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot.
I know they have a couple more, but I don't know much about them, and I don't even know if they're still
Can you
like
can you search
on
by
online.
publisher on here? I wish you could like. Why can't I click here and search by publisher? It's annoying. Yeah. So their mobile games are not popular. That's the reason why I bought a mobile developer. But people just like it's like I said about the European the Sega. I swear they make. That's why I was trying to find it. I swear they make more money from the Sega Europe than any of the. I mean, when you think of Sega, you think of the Japanese stuff. You don't really think of Football Manager and Total War.
I mean, for the Total War and what's the other one that's always there? Total War and what's the other Football Manager? There were two like European franchises that was always in the top five of like their best selling games. I know Total War is one of them, and I know what's it? I think it's Football
Probably
Manager.
a Football Manager.
No, but yeah, those games were always like in the top. Um, they're consistently always there. Even if they're not number one, they're always there.
Right. So that's the stuff that does well for Sega. So we'll have to see how this works out. What they do with them, I suspect that they're going to try and turn their other properties into successful mobile games, and it might
I mean,
be, uh, yeah. So go on.
yeah. What else? Because Sega already has like their own Sonic team for mobile. Um, so I'm trying to think what other franchise they might try to do. Maybe they'll maybe they'll do something weird. It's like, oh, we're making a new mobile franchise from Rovio.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's gonna be new. There's gonna be new IP.
Or maybe they're just gonna keep making Angry Birds and just put made by Sega. That's it.
Maybe because if you think about it, like they've already like done it with the most popular franchises they have. They've already made mobile games out of them.
Yeah, and they keep supporting the ones that they have. Like it's not like they. I mean, they did close one. Let me think. They did close one mobile game, but the other ones are still going.
And it doesn't
So it's
mean
not
like
like they need any.
stuff doesn't always transfer. Taking existing IP that's popular in one form, it doesn't always transfer over into a mobile game.
Yeah,
It just
just
it
ask
just doesn't
Nintendo.
always work.
They
Just
fix-
ask Nintendo. So I'm saying, why did their stuff not work? To the point that I think that they look at that they've licensed out Persona to what's that Chinese company's name now? The Chinese developer for a China only game. You know, full of gacha and everything. It doesn't necessarily mean that that game lends itself, the game format or type of game lends itself well to a mobile game. And they already have that SMT. There is already an SMT mobile game. That one's actually
There's
still
a few,
going, but I mean,
and there's an SMT mobile game where Sonic makes an appearance.
Sonic was in it, right? They even put
Yeah,
they put Bayonetta in it. They've done all
yeah.
sorts with that SMT game. Yeah, but I mean, it's not a big, yeah, and to be quite frank, even if they did release that Persona mobile game worldwide, I don't think that would be big at all. Or I don't think
Yeah,
it
we'll
would.
see. We're gonna have
Yeah,
to wait until after September because it's still not well. It's still not official.
but it's just
We gotta
beta testing it, right?
yeah, but yeah, I don't think we're gonna have an Xbox Activision thing. I think everybody's gonna be like yes, yes, yes,
Oh no, so I
yes.
was talking about the mobile game. The acquisition. You know, it's gonna be. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Talking about acquisitions that nobody cares about. Let's now talk about.
The
Okay,
Sony one.
the Sony one. Let's talk about the Sony one. I might save this for another time.
Yeah, this can be pretty quickly because unlike we know why they're doing this. We know why Sony's.
Right. So people were again. They were asking questions, but not necessarily the right questions.
Mhm.
So where's the? Oh God, I saved all these bookmarks. I can bloody find them. Where's it? Oh, here we go. Okay. So now this announcement is in a lot of ways it's a nothing burger in that we have nothing to talk about because
Yeah.
they've acquired a studio that we already knew they were working with and is working on something that's a multiplayer, presumably live service game. But it's literally nothing we can say because this studio has never put out a game and we don't have any footage or trailer, nothing. We literally have
Yeah.
nothing. There's nothing that can be said. We can talk about it in the context and the other acquisitions they've made that are similar to that. They've made other acquisitions of studios that have not put out any games or nothing that we've seen. Where the people we know have as individuals have worked with different studios and everything that have a pedigree, but as like this new studio, this new company, they've not done anything together. So the other one was Haven, the new studio that's led by Jade Raymond, and then
Hmm.
there was one other one. Oh God, remind me what that was. Key careful. What was the other one? What was the other one? It was the one that makes the VR games or something.
Oh, me. Sony.
What was? Yeah, look at Sony acquisition. Look at all the type here. They've really bought a studio with no game. Yes, they bought studios with no games. That's what they did. Let's look at the actual blog. Which again, it doesn't. There's not really. There's not a lot to say really because it doesn't. Even the blog doesn't say that much.
Even Savage? No, that was mobile.
Yes, that was the other one. That mobile company. They bought this mobile company called Savage, right? I completely forgot about that one, Kike. I completely forgot.
Fire Sprite is the VR one.
That's it. I knew it was Fire something. Fire Sprite. So that's the other one. They didn't put out a game. Savage, is that one that's a mobile company, but have they put out games?
Let me see. Doesn't seem like it.
So they're buying multiple studios that have not put out games, which is unusual compared to what they did before, where it was studios that had they had a proven reputation, and the studios that they had worked with for a long time. Now they're buying. Now I think the reason they're buying them is because if you buy studios like this and they've not put out anything, they're not even really established. They're cheap as chips for one thing.
Mm.
They don't have any IP or anything. They're super cheap. So, because I remember back when Sony did buy Insomniac, and that was like about $230 million. People wondered why that was so cheap. It was because what they made big games for Sony that turned out to be a big game in Spider-Man or whatever, but Insomniac doesn't own Spider-Man. They don't own Ratchet and Clank. And what else did they make before that? In terms of like IP that's Insomniac actually owns, that's because that's what ends up costing a lot of money. Uh,
Do they own Sunset Overdrive, or does Microsoft own Sunset
Microsoft,
Overdrive?
Microsoft. I think Microsoft own. No. Actually, no, you're right. I think Insomniac did own it. I think maybe Insomniac did. I mean, Insomniac owns it, but then Microsoft had the publishing rights. That's what I think it was. So now it is owned by Sony. I think that was part of the deal when they made that game, was that they wanted to own the IP. So I think it is. I think it was published by Microsoft, but owned.
Yeah. Other than that, I can't think of any. I know they did they did that EA game that flopped.
EA game.
Oh, Insomniac made a game with EA that when it got announced, it was like this colorful shooter with a bunch of characters. And then when it actually released, it was like a generic first-person shooter.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Let me. What's the time?
Yeah, I think
Fuse.
Fuse. Okay. I
Yeah,
don't
but
remember.
other than that,
I don't remember it. But yeah, but it's like you pay a lot
nobody
for the
remembers
IP. This is why Bungie is extremely expensive, because Destiny is extremely valuable IP. Plus, they paid a lot for talent to retain the talent there. Because what happens when you don't do that is they can bounce. Because you're buying a studio, but if a lot of the talent leaves, then what do you have? You just have an empty husk. Just ask Microsoft about that and what happened with Rare. You just have, you just have a name at that point.
In fact, they even told Nintendo, "Hey, we're gonna sell. You wanna buy it?" And they were like, "Nah."
Nintendo was like, no, because I think Nintendo could see what was going on, because the founders were already wanting to leave. They were leaving.
No, yeah.
Or was it that they were leaving, or they already left, or something? I think they
wanted to retire.
Yeah.
So
I think Nintendo. Because everyone thinks that if Nintendo had bought Rare, they'd be like this, super successful and everything. But I think Rare was already going. I think they had internal strife. I think that's what, in terms of management, they had management strife, which didn't jive with Nintendo, and that's why they didn't offer to buy them out. And I think they gave them first refusal, but Nintendo like, nah, we're good. But
that's what. I think another reason why Sony is buying these studios is just, they're cheap, and also to have like the manpower already without having to worry about somebody else coming in and poaching them.
I think when it comes to these studios, I don't know if there was anybody, because they haven't put out games like.
Yeah, but they still go around and pitch games to other studios so they can get more work. And maybe Sony is like, no, we want everybody on this, and they're like, well, we need extra money. And it's like, well, how about we just buy you?
So speaking of that, I think it feels obvious at this point that Sony are going to buy Deviation games. Let me say Deviation. Where's my Deviation? Deviation.
I'll need a reminder, because I'm like, how many?
Right, so you're like, this is another studio that has not put out a game. But this is a studio that was, I believe, announced at the founding of it was announced at the Summer Game Fest. It was announced at that opening night live. I think it was opening night live or Summer Game Fest. One of those Jeff Keighley things. They said, there's this new studio. It's called Deviation Games, and they're working with PlayStation. It's like, great, right.
That was the announcement.
That was the entire announcement. They made a big deal of it. They said, they're ex Call of Duty devs. They made a big deal of it at at that, was it Summer Game Fest or something? I don't know what it was.
No, it was one of those two. It was because I remember
Okay.
now. Now I remember because that's another. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, what you can see on the stream? Are you looking at the stream?
Yeah,
So yeah, Deviation Games signs with PlayStation to develop new original IP. This is in June 2021. Oh, what is this? Is this anything? No, it's just a nothing.
no, it just
It's just
that's
like,
just the gift is like deviation and PlayStation.
okay.
Yeah, deviation.
Can I stop that? Okay. So is this a video? It's not even a GIF. It's a video, isn't it?
Oh, it's
Uh,
it,
yeah, not even a teaser of a game. True. There wasn't a teaser. So I feel like this is the next one because this is another studio. It's another one of these like studios where all they're saying they're making a new IP or live service, or we know it's like something like a live service multiplayer or shooter or something because of the background of the developers that are working at this. Now with Deviation, they are a lot of ex COD developers is what I've heard. Oh, someone left. It's in September 2022. Deviation Games is announcing that James Blundell has left the studio. We appreciate the contributions Jason has made and wish him the best in his future. Deviation will continue to be led by CEO Dave Anthony, who also assumed the role of game director this past year and remains a guiding force as we look ahead. Huh. So I guess someone was there and left.
yeah. Management is also having problems, and that could also be a way for Sony to come in. Is like just buy them and then have their management take care of it.
Yeah, so I'm very, very surprised it has not been announced that they're not surprised. Basically, I won't be surprised when it does get announced.
Yeah, I
Because
think they
it
wanna.
seems obvious.
I think that yeah, they're not. Sony's not like Microsoft where they're like they have a big show where it's like here's everybody we bought. Isn't that exciting? Like I don't think they have ever done that really.
Because I think the acquisition strategy is different. Deviate
Yeah,
with Sony, they're buying these studios that have not made any games at all. Therefore these
yeah,
studios have no IP. Whereas with Microsoft, I think what they're buying is a whole bunch of studios. They're buying IP, which I don't know if necessarily the right approach because that is what they did with Rare. Rare was like, we're buying this famous studio that's put out these games, and they were essentially buying IP, and then the studio ended up being an empty husk when a whole bunch of people bounced, and then the games that they put out since then were just never reached what they did. It's really weird to think about because when people think of Rare, they think of those like the Nintendo 64 games mostly, but that Microsoft has owned Rare for longer than the way longer than that partnership that they had with Nintendo, which was only it was a few years really, wasn't it? So
yeah. Well, Super Nintendo and no Nintendo, Super Nintendo 64, and then so. Mm,
10 years, I don't know.
when did they
But anyway, it
sign?
wasn't 20. It wasn't 20 years, which is how long Xbox has
No,
had them.
it was like 10 or less.
It
I
was like
remember.
10 or 11 years or something, right? So Microsoft has owned them way longer, and they haven't put out anything that was able to surpass like the stuff they did when they did have that partnership with Nintendo, which is unfortunate. So Sony's approach is buying talent. Now you can say with Bungie, yes, they bought that. They have a huge IP, but then they paid all that extra money to make sure the talent stayed there for a minimum number of years.
Hmm.
So I think they paid like it was another billion or two, right? Or is what is half of the price was keeping the talent. Half the price of the Bungie acquisition was keeping the talent because they can just bounce. When
Yeah.
you buy a studio, what happens if they bounce? And yeah, I think that I don't know if Microsoft is going to put anything in like that when they buy Activision, but the studios they bought so far, they didn't put anything in there to stop them bouncing. And what happened? A load of people bounced. Not just with Rare, because that was years ago. I'm talking about like recently with that they made that new studio. The what's it called? The Initiative.
Oh, the initiative.
and people bounced.
Yeah, I
They
don't know what's
bounced,
going on with that.
and then what
They
happened with?
bounced,
Sorry.
and then they bounced, and then they hired or they requested that additional studio to help them make
Oh,
perfect art.
oh God, the one that Square Enix used to own.
Yeah, yeah.
Crystal Dynamics.
Crystal, yeah, Crystal Dynamics. So it's not even them as well. It's like them and Crystal Dynamics. So it's
Yeah.
those two pool of talents.
And one of the people went back to Insomniac. The one that used to be at
Yeah,
Insomniac, he went back to Insomniac. He bounced. We had other people that back. Listen, people move studios all the time. Like that's not like just a thing just exclusive to Microsoft. I want to make that clear. It happens all the time, but with Microsoft in particular, it's like the studio leads that it makes the news when it's like the studio leads are leaving.
mhm.
So it's just like a random, whoever. The people change jobs all the time, but when it's the studio leads leaving, when you know that Microsoft has so much money, they are incentivized to keep them there. If they're just bouncing, to go make their own studios or go to studios they worked with in the past or whatever, then I think it's speaks to their poor management. We can get onto that subject in a sec. The other person that bounced, Shinji Mikami, left. Um, what's it called again?
Tango.
Tango Gameworks. Tango Gameworks. He bounced, and you know the funny thing is when he bounced after Hi-Fi Rush came out,
Hmm.
and at the time people were saying, "Oh, well, he's retiring." Because first it was a rumor that he left, and then it was a couple of a few hours later, and they came out and said yes, he's left, and he said they confirmed that he left, right? And they said, oh, he's going to be left by, it was like a couple of months out or something, right? He's going to be there for a little while longer, but then he's leaving. He didn't say I'm leaving to retire. You'd think, oh, it's retirement. If you're retiring, what would stop you just saying I'm retiring? He didn't say that. So he may well be retiring. At this point, we don't know. But also, he might not be retiring. He might have been poached by, you know, Tencent or NetEase or somewhere. We've no idea what's happened there. But I tell you one thing, and I said this when Microsoft made the acquisition of ZeniMax, which also owns Tango Gameworks. I said at the time, and I've said before, I said, okay, so basically Tango Gameworks is kind of in a situation where they are never ever ever going to release a game that's going to reach a Japanese audience at all ever again, because after the last game that came out that had a exclusivity contract with uh, PlayStation that was left over from before the acquisition. Then after that, all the games are only going to be on Xbox and PC, right? Uh,
Hmm.
which means they're never going to reach a mainline Japanese audience ever again. And I don't know. Um, if people working in that studio can necessarily be satisfied with that, knowing that there's nobody. Your games are never going to reach the audience in a country that you live and work. Basically, it's just impossible. A Hi-Fi Rush, nobody knew that game existed in Japan. And we saw that Xbox is sold this week. And another thing that came out recently actually was so with the Microsoft acquisition of Activision, all these different countries have to approve it. Japan just approved it. Yeah, we don't give a f. Just whatever,
Mm.
right?
Microsoft.
Well, Microsoft are like, okay, whatever. Yeah, go on. There's it's just non-entities in terms of gaming. They're not non-entities in Japan, right? What emerged on that was that when it came to cloud gaming, do you think okay, so all the things in cloud gaming and everyone in Japan they're all streaming the games on their phones. Well, it turned out that Microsoft they said they had around 10% of the cloud gaming market in Japan. So, which is you're like, okay, well, what's the other 90% then? If Microsoft hasn't managed to gain more than 10%, which I think that's high, you know, I think that's kind of high. But if like it's like okay, so there's 90% of people that do any type of cloud gaming and not opting to go with Microsoft, and you think what other big cloud gaming services are there apart from like there's GeForce Now. There's other cloud gaming stuff in Japan that's obviously more popular than what Microsoft's achieving. So it's not like okay, people aren't buying Xboxes, but they're all on cloud gaming. Otherwise, that figure would be higher. I feel. Or maybe that's just me. I'm gonna take a look at these comments. Oh, Roche's. Oh, this on here. Roche says the next one is Mario Kart 9 Deluxe, which is no.
He's never leaving.
Actually, question: did Sega what overexpand, or was it a good buy? Only time will tell about that, Roche. Can't really say anything about that now. Zombie Tech Pack says Sega buying Rovio is basically a large investment for them in the mobile space. Hello and happy Friday, by the way. Hi, Zombie Tech Pad. Happy Friday. Yeah, it was a large investment for them, and there is a push into mobile. So, they're hoping it's gonna pay off. I'll put it that way. Yeah. Roche says live service is the future. That's why Sony's making 12 of them. Yeah. I don't know that it is the future. That Sony thinks it's going to be, because we've just had a whole bunch of live service games shut down recently. Because again, as I said before, I think the market can only support a limited number of them, because people have limited time and limited money. Most people have limited money. They have just whales, but even if they have like unlimited money, some people, a handful, most people have limited time. They don't have time to put all the hours that these live service games demand a lot of your time to keep up a battle pass and stuff like that. I think Sony wants to have something like a Retro Studios experience, where he gets a super cheap studio that create great games. You mean retro, like Retro Studios, the studio? I thought you just meant like retro.
Yeah, from the Metroid people. Oh no.
Yeah,
okay.
Man. Where he gets a studio that make great games. Here's the thing, like buying a studio, it doesn't. In some cases you can buy a studio super cheap, and it like pays off because like you invest the time, the money into them, building them up slowly, and you can get stuff. But again, like Retro Studios is a success in that the games they came out with were all critically acclaimed, but they didn't sell like a lot, so
also, they bought Retro for another reason.
They what, sorry?
They bought it for another reason. They were having management.
Yeah, there was management issues, so they decided to buy. It's kind of the opposite with Rare, because Rare had management issues and they didn't want to buy them. But maybe they thought, maybe they thought they made a mistake with Rare. But yeah, there was management issues. There was like, no,
maybe
we're taking over.
After that, they were real quick to buy Retro. They were real quick to buy Next Level when they weren't.
That wasn't quick. How was that quick? They were working with Next Level for years.
in terms of the leadership was gonna sell.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Nintendo's hand was forced. They had to.
And maybe they're like, maybe I don't know if this is true. Maybe they're like, oh, we know what happened with Rare. Let's not do that again.
Well, but the difference is that Nintendo willingly just did not want to buy it. They could have bought them easily if they wanted to. They decided not to. And they just didn't want. They just didn't want to. Whereas next level games used to make other stuff in the past, but they ended up only working with Nintendo. So when the management wanted to sell up, it was in Nintendo's interest to buy them, because then they had a relationship with those managers. Well, it could be anybody that comes in and buys them. They might not want to do what Nintendo does. They might not want to work with Nintendo at all. And they had a good thing going, so their hand was forced with that one. But that can happen. Roche says, I think Nintendo didn't buy Rare because they were overconfident and that no one getting buy. No, 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 no. No, it wasn't that. They Rare said they wanted to sell. They gave first refusal to Nintendo. Nintendo
Yeah.
said no. So they could have bought them if they wanted to. They decided not to. Not because they didn't think someone else was going to buy them out. And even if that's not what happened. But Nintendo could have tried to negotiate if they wanted that. But yeah, they were given first refusal. Rose says, I disagree, Kika. If they bought the studio for manpower, when they would have used their port studio for Last of Us instead of Iron Galaxy.
Yeah, but what
which
is
studio is Rose referring to?
so they bought a studio that was making PC games before, and they bought them for specifically to port their PlayStation games to PC.
Oh,
That was the
that Nixis the Nixis studio. Yeah, I
yeah.
did wonder about that. If they bought them to port games, then why did Iron Galaxy do this? Like a really
Well,
bad job of that port. By the way, they messed
well,
up.
the last thing they made that I know they did was the Spider-Man games.
But those were fine,
So it
right?
must have been more. Yeah, they did the Spider-Man ports.
Probably because. So here's the thing, Spider-Man. The reason why is because yes, they did buy Nixis for the additional manpower of having people to port the games to make sure they can always do that, but they can't do everything. They're not big enough to do all these
Yeah.
multiple ports at once, so they couldn't do. I mean, look at the gap between when Spider-Man came out and then Last of Us 2. If you want a gap of just a few months like that, and it takes like a year to port a game, you can't. You need to have multiple different studios making all these ports at the same time because it takes like a year to port a game. It's the reason.
Ported well.
To port it. Yeah, who knows what Iron Galaxy. Well, they screwed that.
Which
up.
is weird because their Switch ports are really great. So I don't know what happened.
Didn't they do one really Switch port that was kind of trash recently? Or was that some other studio?
What was it? I know they did.
What was the one that turned out to be trash? It was like the Outer Worlds, or someone did that and it wasn't good.
Let me see. Give me a second.
I don't know what it was, but I'm not sure.
Rumbleverse, Killer Instinct, Destruction. Where are they?
I might be thinking of another company. It's fine.
They did the freaking Activision games. They did Skyrim. Skyrim. Yeah, that was the one I was thinking.
Okay.
I don't see it. But no, yeah, at least the Switch games. I know I did Overwatch Switch. What's that? Overwatch on Switch is fine. It's not the best, but it's fine.
Yeah, they just need to when it comes to those sort of games, they just make them so they're just fine, basically.
Yeah.
That's the best
They made
they
a
can
bunch
do.
of-
They're
yeah.
fine.
Yeah, they did do like Skyrim port was great. Spyro and Crash on Switch they did, which were fantastic. They did
Okay.
Diablo, which was great. Like
Oh yeah. That's true.
I would have to see, but yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened because I know in terms of ports they're more capable than whatever happened with Last of Us. I know what
I don't
happened.
know. I think what happened. Yeah, sorry.
They helped out on Metroid Prime Remastered. That was.
Oh, did they? Well, that part actually was good.
That was Retro and Iron Galaxy.
And Iron Galaxy helped. So I think what happens with The Last of Us.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Zombie Tech Pad just typed that in the chat as well. I think what happened with Last of Us, I think that just wasn't ready.
Yeah,
I think it wasn't ready.
They even delayed it for like a month, and I'm like,
They delayed it. I think management was like, no, this is going out the door now because it's getting too long between when this is coming out and when the TV show had just wrapped up.
Man, that's some old Sega.
You was about to swear. Please don't swear. Please don't swear. Yeah, I think it was that.
Yeah, it more than likely is.
Because
but then again, I'm like,
sorry, go
because
ahead.
they released the PlayStation 5 like version like a year before,
Right, but the
and so
reason
maybe
they did that was because they just got this just thing where the games have to be on PlayStation first.
yeah, but maybe if they knew that there was on problem, maybe they could have delayed everything, released the
Yeah, but
PlayStation 5
yeah, but I don't think they did
when
because I think the PC port was made after. If it came out like a year after the thing, that means that they was probably working on that PC port for a year after they probably finished the game, or it was a Naughty Dog, right? Naughty Dog probably finished the game and then handed it over to Iron Galaxy to write the port. They probably wasn't even doing it concurrently. They probably gave it
money.
to them after. That's my speculation because if there's a year gap, it's enough time to port a game.
They may need to look at how they plan their ports if they want to avoid this. Because man,
I know people weren't happy, but I mean, yeah, I think yeah, I mean they should have given it additional time. Unfortunately, they didn't because they wanted to capitalize on the TV show,
yeah,
which
and
was hot, at the
mm,
time and was like doing gangbusters. So they just felt like they were just going to lose momentum. But I think if that game, I don't know how much longer that game needed, but when did it come out? Was it a month or two ago? Uh, it
and yeah, more.
so it may have needed an extra few months. I think if they had delayed it by a few months, I think there still would have been people who wanted it. But even though it's like after the TV show, either that or just they need to time things better so that it lines up better with the TV show. But I don't know. I feel like the PlayStation 5 version was already on PlayStation. It was already out for, you know, the best part of a year before the TV show came out. Then when the TV show came out, because that game was already there, the sales of it shot back up the chart. So I feel like even if the game had come later on PC, there still would have been a load of people, even though it wasn't at the same time. There would still be people that bought it. They may not have lost like a whole bunch of sales, but I think they've lost more. Or I don't know, like how much sales they've lost. They've certainly lost in terms of like customer trust. I think they've lost. I think that's what they've eroded is customer trust when you do that, which is a thing that's a lot harder to buy. So when it comes to the PC gamers, there's going to be like some who distrust. Um, maybe some of the games in the future, which is understandable. So let's hope that their future ports are done well and given the time that they need, and obviously that applies to just any game from any studio. Really shouldn't be rushed, in my opinion. Unfortunately, it does happen.
Yeah.
So let's move on, and should we talk about this kind of debacle that's happened with Hi-Fi Rush?
I mean, real quickly because there's updates now,
The updates from that?
so
Yeah, that's what I meant.
yeah, we can.
Let's talk about the whole situation. So I'm
Yeah.
going to start off with the initial report, and then we'll go on to the responses to that. So I didn't end up reading that. Doesn't matter. Okay, so this initial report came via Jeff Grubb on his live stream, and then this has been written up by Tom Henderson on his news site that he has called Insider Gaming. Yeah, so Jeff Grubb said that it didn't make the money it needed to, and here's the update that Tom Henderson has also updated his blog with. Aaron Greenberg has issued a small statement on Twitter refuting these comments. You can see our coverage here. So let's open that in a new tab. But I thought what we would do is just take a look at what the actual conversation that Jeff Grubb had with I've got to form his co-host's name is now. Mike something. Um, let's see what they said. Now, this audio is terribly low. Let me know if you can hear this. It's only a couple of minutes, so let's listen. Oops.
I don't know. Like when they do.
Oh, you probably can't hear it, Kike, because you need to listen on the stream.
I mean, it's paused right now, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it now.
Get a win like Hi-Fi Rush. You know, and I criticized before, like, why wasn't this something that was made into a big deal instead of just used as this shadow drop opportunity? I think if you made that a big deal, it would have been more impactful. It would have seemed more like a win. I don't know why you present that as this small game that we're not even going to, you know, have a marketing campaign for, really. And I know I've been criticized for that, but that's how I feel about that. I think that game was too good to be a cute little shadow drop.
I mean, I gotta say, like, I think I disagreed with you at the time, but based on what I've heard, it just straight up didn't make the money it needed to make. And it got good reviews, the buzz was good. So where do you put the blame for something like that? And it's like, is it the price? Was it the shadow drop? Or could it have sold more? Or is it Game Pass? It's like, this is something that I would love to ask Xbox about. It's like, you have Game Pass, which does incentivize a huge number of people to not buy games. I mean, I know a lot of people end up buying other games, but I think a lot of people, you know, they're happy to just play games in Game Pass. So, like, that behavior, if that behavior is not like justified, but like, well, at least they're in Game Pass, and so they're continuing to do stuff like, if these games also then need to perform in terms of sales, which it sounds like they do, or at least something needs to be, and maybe it's because they were expecting Halo to fill in that gap and be like this massive microtransaction machine, and that didn't happen and isn't happening and won't happen. Maybe all these other games are now feeling it, but it's like, that's a weird. You're undercutting yourself. So what's the answer here? Maybe the answer is like, well, we're about to get Call of Duty, and that will make the money we need. So okay, but that's not really what we're talking about, is it? What we're really talking about is, where is the guidance from within Xbox to sort of, not right the ship, but to be making the right decisions sort of at every turn, where right now it feels like no decisions being made and games are just sort of happening, and whatever does happen, oh well, it feels sort of sloppy in a lot of ways. And and I think people who have invested a lot of money buying an Xbox Series X and having month after month of Game Pass Ultimate are starting to look around being like, this doesn't feel as good as it did at the beginning of this generation when there was a lot of promise.
Right. And, you know, things kind of turned almost as soon as there was that Halo Infinite delay for a year. Then that turned into Halo Infinite kind of coming out. And initially, everyone was really happy about that. And then very quickly, that turned bad. Then it's been kind of a lot of delays and, you know, announcing games that feels like we're still not going to hear about anytime soon, like your Fables, like your Perfect Darks, even Avowed. Like when are we gonna hear about Avowed? I don't know. It's just in a weird state right now, and I get it. You can't just snap your finger and make these games appear, but something feels off. I think is the best way I can put it. Something feels off about the Xbox brand right now. I don't know if so much of their focus has been about this ABK deal, that maybe there's been too much on that, a little bit less about the here and now. But I can't imagine that's it, because that's different people. That's lawyers and stuff figuring that out, I assume.
Right.
So I don't know why.
I'm going to cut it there, because I think they're kind of going on a little bit. I kind of agree where Jeff was saying, no, I don't think that's it. It's not the ABK thing, because like I said, it's different people. It's lawyers that are dealing with that whole thing. And I think Microsoft's management issues predate this ABK deal anyway, to be honest with you. So that was, I just wanted people to hear the full context of what Jeff Grubb said. He said that he'd heard it didn't make the money it needed to. Now, to be clear, that's been refuted, and we're going to look at what Aaron Greenberg, who's the head of marketing at Xbox, we're going to see exactly what he said in response. Let's see, was there any comments? J2 Blue Engage says, I like how the layout on his podcast looks like a GBA box. Yes, it does, specifically, because I noticed they had a couple of different layouts. specifically, this one looks like one of the they re-released they re-released Final Fantasies on GBA, right?
The GBA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like 1 to 4. Was it 1 to 4? They re-released. There's a few
I
of them
think
anyway.
I think 1 or 3. Yeah, it's the first couple of ones.
Yeah,
And
they
I know they
released
continue.
those. So I think that specifically it looks like the Game Boy Advance version of some of the
Yeah,
Final
there's the
Fantasy
E4
games.
Square Enix there also.
Yeah, it looks like it's the same font, Square Enix font, and the background. This looks like it's a Final Fantasy font basically, and they've put like different stuff in the background. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I was looking at as we was watching, I was like, oh man, I wish I knew how to make something like that for my stream.
Mhm.
I kind of want to be able to do something like this, but I have no idea how to do it. So I need to figure out how I could possibly do something like this. But yeah, it's really cool. I like it. What was the other comment there? I don't think Jeff Grubb is wrong. This is J2 Blue Engage. I don't think Jeff Grubb is wrong, but Aaron Greenberg might be talking about success in a different way. Right, so that's a good point, and this is kind of what Jeff Grubb said on Twitter as well. Zombie Tack Pad said, why do they have Smash Bros font as well though? Yeah, I've noticed that. Yeah, this Smash Bros font.
Why
like,
we're here? I don't know.
Here, Mike Tokoto has got Smash Bros font, and then this one here, I think is meant to be Yoshi, Jeff Grubb's name at the bottom. Why? Who said that? Was it J2? Why did they have that Zombie Tech Pack? I think they have it because they can. I think they just wanted it. I don't know. I think they just wanted that. I have no idea. Maybe that's just how they do it. On these, I noticed had different layouts. I had one that looks like kind of like a Zelda box. I think they just wanted that. But yeah, I wish I could do some sort of cool layout like this. I'll have to figure it out because at the moment I've just got the free one that I found online. Because I was like, oh, I don't know how to use this software. I don't even know if it's even going to work out. So I'm going to spend money. Because you can buy pre-made stream layouts. But obviously I wasn't going to spend money on that when I didn't know how to use the software in the first place. But now I know how to use it. I would like to have something custom made rather than something out of the box. Because all the ones that I've seen that are out of the box don't quite fit with what I'm going for, if you see what I mean. But if I can't make something, then I would get a pre-made one, or you can actually pay someone to make one for you as well. That's an option. Let's just, I'll see. At the moment, this is all my own time and money I'm putting into this stream. We'll have to see how it continues. So now let's look at this. Okay, what Aaron Greenberg says. Vice President of Xbox Games Marketing, Aaron Greenberg, has issued a small... Oh, I already said this. Yeah, following previous claims that Hi-Fi Rush didn't make the money it needed to make. So that's the way Jeff Grubb phrased it. He didn't say it didn't make as much sales, because we're talking about each game is still, even if it's going to Game Pass, it's a revenue driver. You're trying to drive people to sign up to Game Pass. Game Pass costs money. That's the whole idea, right? So it could be that it's being measured like that and being measured well, how many people are actually playing this game, how many hours are they put into it, how much time are they spending, how many are completing the game. Maybe they look at that and they work out how much revenue each game is driving. Because obviously the more time people are putting into a game, the more it's a revenue driver. So this is what Aaron Greenberg said on Twitter, and we can just open this tweet here. And this was actually in response to... Oh, we deleted it. What was here? Somebody put this... I don't remember what he was responding to now. It's been deleted. No.
Oh no.
We saw it earlier on the pre-stream, didn't we? But I don't know what it was. So Jez Corden, who's the writer at Windows Central, said... What exactly determines success for an Xbox game these days? Hi-Fi Rush, as far as I know, has no physical version, no marketing, no multiplayer. If Xbox is pressuring ZeniMax to deliver sales of its games, maybe it shouldn't put so much emphasis on Xbox Game Pass. What's the goal here? So I think what part of the issue here was what Jeff Grubb said. He didn't say sales, but then everyone started saying sales, as in like traditional how you sell a game, not Game Pass, but just selling it. Straight up digitally. I think that got changed from it didn't make the money it needed to make in sales, and here Jeff Corden is explicitly referring to sales, right? Saying maybe he's speculating, obviously. If Xbox is pressuring ZeniMax to deliver sales of its games, then it shouldn't put so much emphasis on Game Pass, right? So Jeff Corden and whoever wrote the quote tweet that he's responding to thought it was something to do with sales. Jeff Grubb didn't say sales, but anyway, here's the response from Aaron Greenberg. Hi-Fi Rush was a breakout hit for us and our players in all key measurements and expectations. We couldn't be happier with the team at Tango Gameworks, with what the team at Tango Gameworks delivered with this surprise release. Now, for the purposes of this, we could ignore the second sentence, because that doesn't tell us anything. That's just extra PR fluff. Let's look at the first sentence. It says, Hi-Fi Rush was a breakout hit for us and our players in all key measurements and expectations. So, it doesn't say, obviously it's not worded exactly the way that Jeff Grubb worded it, because that's negative, right? You want to be positive. He's a marketing manager. So it said it was a breakout hit for us in all key measurements and expectations. We don't know what those measurements and expectations were, but he says breakout hit. Now, breakout hit, a hit is you usually describe something as a hit when it exceeds your expectations. I think it's normally a hit when it exceeds your expectations that you might have, like usually by a lot. So it could be that it exceeded expectations, or it could be that it just met them. But the way he words it is breakout hit for us and our players. Again, you could ignore that bit about our players, because when he's talking about players, he's talking about customers, basically. People that are playing, buying, paying for Game Pass, and so on. Well, yeah, but that's not... They've got no one who's playing these games knows what the measurements are. Only Microsoft does. So for saying it met our players' expectations means nothing. So all we got to look at is this first bit here. There's a breakout hit for us, and then all key measurements and expectations. Those are two key parts of this very short statement. So he's saying all key measurements and expectations. Doesn't mean like it hit absolutely everything, but they're saying key measurements and expectations. We can only take his word of it. I don't think he's lying without that, but we don't have the context of what he's saying.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to tell us.
He's not going to tell us. So I think sales had been conflated with revenue that a game is generating, because even games on Game Pass, they're not what they're supposed to be doing is driving revenue. Like I said, subscriptions, people to subscribe. If they're not doing that, if you put a game on Game Pass, I've won that they've made themselves cost money, or they've paid to have a game on Game Pass, and then hardly anybody plays that game, then it's not doing what it needs to do. You're not either going to get another game with that, or get another game from that company, or you're going to pivot and do something else, or a game's not going to get support or whatever, or you're not going to make a sequel or something like that, right? So it doesn't mean that you just a game can make no money. It's Game Pass. They just no. They have what they want each game to achieve, some internal goals that we don't know what they are. Additionally, I thought we could look at what Jeff Grubb actually said. Now, it'd be good if I had the tweet here, wouldn't it? That'd be fantastic. No, it's here. So, okay, so we can see what Jeff Grubb said in response to this a few hours ago. Okay, so Jeff Grubb's responding to whatever this is. 4 hours ago, someone wanted to clarify the situation about hi-fi. Again, you see here it says sales. It would be nice if you clarify the situation of Hi-Fi Rush and its sales. So whatever Jeff Grubb said got turned into sales, which isn't the same as like number of players or revenue generated. And Jeff Grubb responds, I was just trying to say that I heard Hi-Fi Rush didn't make the money it was expected to make. Again, it's not the same thing as sales. But to be clear, I don't really know how Microsoft measures success. This was just a small passing statement in a larger conversation. It wasn't meant to worry people about Hi-Fi Rush. So that's what Jeff Grubb put out before Alan Greenberg came out and made his statement. Like I said, people saying, oh, Alan Greenberg's lying. So I don't think he's lying. But we don't know what their expectations. Their expectations may have been really low. He's just saying it met their expectations. It's met their expectations. Their expectations may have been really, really low. If you are just putting a game out that with no marketing or anything, then your expectations are low because you're not putting any money into marketing the game. You see what I mean?
Yeah. It's weird because Microsoft as a whole is weird on how they tell their Xbox numbers, because I think they said when the Series X launched, like, oh, we're not gonna say how many consoles we sold. We're just gonna tell you how many Xbox Game Pass subscribers we have. That's the real way we're gonna have our success.
Yeah.
And
even then, they're not telling us when was the last actual official Game Pass subscriber number update from Microsoft.
2 years, I want to say. Don't quote me on that.
Did they tell us 25 million? Was it the last one?
25?
Was it? I don't even know. Hang on. Let me look it up. Number of...
It was 9.
Game...
Was it 19?
No, was it? They've never given updates past subscribers. You know, they don't give up... Oh my god. Number of Game Pass subscribers. Okay, in 2022... Okay, so this is saying... They're saying 25 million subscribers. Where's the source of this? What's the source? Okay, so they've got a full this is very good, where they've got a... Okay, so...
I know Phil Spencer is the one telling that, but...
Right, but did Xbox say 25 million? That's what I'm saying. Did it come from them? Microsoft SCE filings. Is it this? SC, did it come from there? The 25 million? Where did that number come from?
Either from Phil Spencer or from I know they say it in the financials. Whenever they want to update. They
haven't been saying it in the financials for a very long time.
Yeah, but the last number was, I believe, was in the financial. Like the last time they decided to tell us.
They're saying January 2022. They said 25 million on this article. Then there was things about also the subscriber growth wasn't being met, like what they wanted. So here's a table of what the growth was compared to, and this was back from 2021. So it was exceeding it, and then it started going down. From 2021 to 2022, their corporate goal was 72.88. Actual growth was 28.7. So it was growing a lot slower than they wanted. Wait, why is it linked to PlayStation statistics? I want this thing. How does Game Pass Xbox interact video games? Dude, was that an official figure? Was it an official figure, Kika? Do you know?
It has to be. Let me...
Sony claims Xbox has reached 29 million. Xbox has failed to reach its Game Pass subscriber target. Okay. The service still does continue to grow. Then why haven't they announced it for over a year then?
All I'm getting is...
Even Phil Spencer said growth was slowing down. Right, but I want to know, like, I want a link to where
Oh,
that's
it
come
was
from.
the announcement of the mic of the Activision acquisition.
Oh, and then they said 25 million.
Yeah, because I look for the I got a news article. I clicked on the link and it's the Activision
Oh,
um
okay. Oh no,
news
you're right.
article.
Yeah, I can see it now. Yeah, I've just seen it now. It's on their blog, the news blog, the
Yeah.
news thing.
Okay, so from that, and they say there we
January
also announced
2022.
yeah, it's like in the middle it says we also announced today that we have 25 million Game Pass subscribers.
So they've not updated it since then.
Yeah.
Now there was an article here that I saw that Sony claims that Game Pass had 29 million.
Hmm.
Oh, where does that go? Sony claims Xbox Game Pass has reached 29 million, but Microsoft hasn't said that.
Yeah, how did they get that number? Do they have a snitch they have a spy in Microsoft?
I think they've just, I don't know, did they just estimate it? Yeah, they haven't said where this Game Pass
Yeah,
has 29 million subscribers and it's expected to grow the multi-game. Okay,
It must be
Sony's 29 million subscribers claim regarding Xbox Game Pass doesn't seem to match Microsoft's reports. Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know where they're getting at.
I don't know.
Yeah, then the last time was 25 million. So 25 million Game Pass subscribers as of last year, or the beginning of last year, to be more exact. And it's weird because I always felt like they can't sustain off Game Pass forever. But I remember when it launched, I think it was Phil Spencer who said that even though Game Pass launched, people were still buying Microsoft games.
At that
They were still
time,
buying.
yeah, probably because
Yeah,
they hadn't reached
that time they were
like
still.
in terms of
They were
like
still.
how they were trying to sell, how they were, how can I say, like promoting Game Pass. It hadn't reached as much mind share as it does now.
Yeah, so I thought at the time, oh, maybe they can. They can get Game Pass and people were still buying. They were fine, but that's the whole like. I mean, this is streaming as a whole. Like, how do you determine something is successful? That's something everybody has been trying to figure out. Like, even in movies and in TV shows.
Is my
Like,
audio
how do you?
low, by the way? Because I'm saying I can hear my audio looks lower than. Oh, hi, Dank Meme. My audio is lower. My audio is pretty low. Oh, I didn't realize it was so low. I just need to quickly. I'm sitting in darkness in here, so I need to turn the lights on. One sec. Okay, I'm back. I forgot I lost my train of thought. So we're not going to go on a crazy long more times. We've already been live for like over 2 hours, and I'm running out of steam. I'm running out of steam. So yeah, Zombie Tech Pack says I watched that session of the podcast this morning. And I thought Jeff Grubb was just speculating. So it was partially saying he had heard something, and also him speculating on top of that is what it seemed like to me.
Yeah, I don't think he ever expected people to like make a whole news story about.
Yeah, I don't think he thought that. But I feel at this point he should kind of respect that.
Yeah. Maybe he's thinking too nice of people. Maybe he thought people will understand the context or something.
They do not. And they took it out of context and they started saying things like sales when he said it didn't make the money they wanted it to, which is not the same thing. No, my volume. Well, I was concerned about my volume. I had to turn the gain up a little bit because I could see. I'm looking at. I didn't really look at the thing. And I noticed that like Kika's volume's way louder than mine. So I don't know. I turned the gain up a little bit on my thing, so hopefully I should be a bit louder without me. I don't want to turn the gain up too loud. Oops, sorry about that. Sorry about that little microphone noise there. Sorry.
Yes,
Okay, let's move on to the next thing. Unless you have something else to say.
Well, I don't know if we're gonna move over to the Square Enix thing because I had a
Well.
perfect segue.
What's your segue?
Because I did remember when it came out on Steam, it did sell better than a certain game that launched during that same time.
What did?
Forspoken. You remember? Everybody was like, it charted better than Forspoken.
Oh yeah, well, Forspoken was the only reason they were comparing those two was because one, it didn't even make any sense really because it's not a Sony game, but it was on Sony consoles, was exclusive. There was no other reason to compare those two games, really. But it meant it made a point of comparison because of the relative prices of the games. Where Forspoken was $70 and Hi-Fi Rush was $30. So and the way that Valve does the Steam charges, it's by revenue, right? So it means that Forspoken really tanked. So it did give perspective in how badly Forspoken did. But yes, speaking of Square Enix, and Square Enix taking L's. Square Enix be taking L's. Now the next thing, we don't know if it's an L or W. You can be the judge. Is it an L or W? We're going to talk about this next thing. You can decide whether it's an L or W. So this is Square Enix has made AI-driven game. This is it's an educational demonstration of natural language processing and AI technology as applied to an adventure game. Now this game is from a Yuji Horii novel that he wrote in like the 80s or something like that. Here's a couple of screenshots of it. We're gonna there's an actual video of it. We look at that. It's like some sort of murder mystery. So I think this is gonna. I don't think they're gonna be charging for this because they're saying it's an educational thing. It implies you're not charging for it.
Now it's. On Steam it says it's free. I don't know if
on Steam it says it's free. So we're gonna look at the Steam page here. And there's a video. Now I did watch this video earlier, but let's oh god, what's happening here? Let's watch this video. What's the sound? The sound on? The sound? Okay, the sound's on, but they don't have. It's no voice acting. It's just robots. So I guess you're typing stuff. How the hell are you to pause this? So I guess you're typing stuff into here. So the idea is that the guy on the left here is a detective. You're investigating, right? So he's the AI. So you type your words. Just enter your words on the screen. So you type something into here, and then the AI is going to give you a response based on what you type. So on the screen it says, "This is the study. The door to the lounge is the only way in or out. The body was found right here on the floor." So let's look a bit more of it. Okay, so they've typed in take the frame. This is the lounge. It connects to the study. Take the frame. So they must be referring to that picture. Is that what if you was talking about a picture, would you type in take the frame? I don't know. But yeah, let's see what happens. He says only if you insist. Sorry, go ahead.
This reminds me of like the old school like text adventure games where
it
was literally just a screen and words like you're in a mansion.
Yeah. It's like that. I mean, they do have obviously his images there, and I think his mouth is moving. Is his mouth moving?
Yeah.
And you're typing in something here, so it's very abstract because you can type in anything. Investigate the safe box. And then he says looks, and it even sounds kind of natural. He says looks like a reinforced steel job. So I like that even though it's doesn't have a voice acting, I do like his mouth is moving. We're not going to open it without the key. Showed the photo of Kozo, which I think is the victim. Excuse me, could you take a look at this? Oh, okay, you're showing someone on the street. Oh wow, are you like a real life detective on a real life case? Oh, that reminds me, I saw someone just outside, like where I live, someone was getting arrested for something, I don't know what. They were getting arrested. The police there, and they had him in cuffs, I don't know what was going on. It was outside, like, a school as well. So, I don't know what was going on there. Okay, so where you're typing in is the grey. And does it say what this character's name is here? This character on the left. Oh, I guess this is her. She's Yukiko. It says courting Yukiko. So you as the player said that, and this is Yukiko, and then Yasu's your partner. And he's saying, what is her alibi? Let's see. Actually, now that I'm watching this, it does seem pretty cool. Like, if it actually works like this, as you're seeing on screen, like, you can type in whatever, then it would be cool. So this might be a W. Square Enix might get a W. Are you still there, Kika? I don't know if he's still there.
Oh, I am still here. Is
Square Enix getting a W? They've taken so many L's. Is this a W?
Well, here's the thing, because here's what's going on. This is like a test. It's a test. It's not a full game. They're just testing something out, right? Yeah, but let's say it's successful. Like, yeah, this is a cool thing. We want to explore that, and then Square Enix takes us like, oh, so AI is pretty cool now. So let's take that and put it into our NFT initiative.
But hang on. But they might just make a game like this. It might just be this, but a full game.
I don't think so. I don't believe Airbrush Curio wants to do that.
You don't know what Airbrush Curio-san wants to do. You have no goddamn idea. All we know is that he wants to airbrush his out his face and play guitar. That's the only stuff we know about him. And he plays Final Fantasy 14. That's all we know. What can we say? And he likes NFTs. That's all we can say. No, I don't know. Whatever this is, now you could say that, but he's only just becoming the CEO now. So whatever they're doing here, this was done by higher ups. I mean, I guess he's kind of higher. He was the CFO or something, right? Isn't he the CFO?
But it's still, like, something about it still feels like it's gonna lead into that, because this is all like the cool, like AI and NFTs are separate, but
it's separate. But you're worried that they can be linked and they can be an evil empire. I know we always have that worry about Square Enix. We just don't know when. We just know it's going to happen at some point. They're going to be an evil empire, unless they already are an evil empire. But they're just like an inch away from being an evil empire. I know how you feel, Kike. I know how you feel. Like they just want to control everything, and they want to take all our money, and they want us to buy multiple expensive ass collector's editions that we can't afford. That's what they keep making us do. I don't know why they're making us do that. That's what's happening.
Because they know.
3 collector's editions from them this year. I don't want to talk about it. Anyway. I don't know. The reason why this seems cool is because if it is applied like this if what we're seeing here is how they're going to apply it, not that they're going to do NFTs, if it looks like this, then it's cool. Like, this is literal. And the thing that's cool about this is that they didn't just make... This is not even a new thing. It's based on Yuji Hoyo's novel or something. So it's not... It's like they've applied it to an actual game. Now, what they were doing as NFTs and that thing... Remember when we went over that NFT game? I can't remember what it was called. What was it called? Some weird name. Symbiosis. Yeah. That wasn't even... That was literally clicking on the screen. Now, this is like, they didn't spend tons of money on the visuals of this game, alright? The artwork's pretty clean and I like that it's animated, but it's just like, they just walked around the town and just took a load of pictures or whatever. No, actually, some of them are set, no, some of them look like they like a murder scene. Some of them look like a murder, but didn't one look like a murder scene? I mean, but what is it to take these pictures? Okay, this kind of looks like a murder scene, but it's just a picture of a room with like they superimposed that what do you call this? An outline, the body outline. Well, they've just been superimposed on there. So it's just pictures, you know. Maybe they already had these photos. Maybe this is stuff we don't know where these pictures are from. But anyway, the mouths are it's kind of odd that the mouths are animated, even though there's no voice acting.
Yeah, and it's a free game, so it's not.
It's
like,
free.
Like,
That's the other thing. So you saw recently with the Sonic, what was the thing called again? Death of Sonic, Murder of Sonic.
The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh my god.
Yeah, I still haven't downloaded. Did you play it?
Yeah, I love that game.
Oh, okay. I need to try it out then.
It's like a game for the fans by the fans.
Okay. I definitely need to try it out. So this is applied to an adventure game. So I think it was an adventure game made by Yuji Horii. This is a game that already came out in the 80s. A game or novel. Was it game or novel? Maybe it was both. And they're using their natural language processing, natural language understanding, and speech to text. Which is not speech to text. Oh, okay, so then you can just give instructions in your own voice rather than using a keyboard. Okay. Mature content description. Obviously super low requirements because it's just a visual novel. No. I said it's super low, Kike. It's like look at the system requirements for this. This is super low. Anyway, look, they're saying 8 gigs of RAM and an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 960.
The moment you see an Intel core, that means it's really low. Yeah, it's really low.
Intel core. So yeah, obviously it's just a visual novel. It's just a visual novel. So when this is didn't it have a countdown on this until when it's available? Planned release 20. Oh look, it's only 2 days basically. So it's on the 23rd. So let's download this when it comes out and see what this is about. Since they're saying you can play this already was an adventure game. So it's probably gonna be like limited. I don't know how it works. I don't know, but I know that there's lots of very clever AIs coming out, but let's just see whether they whether they do good or evil with this technology. I don't know. We don't know yet. It could go either way. It's like a 50-50 chance that they could either be good or evil. So I want to ask, is this a W or an L?
For now, I think this game itself is a W. The technology itself, I'm worried. I'm worried what they're gonna do with it.
You're worried that they're gonna take over the world?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's a constant worry about Square Enix. I mean,
Yeah.
they're trying to take over the world. They just can't do it. It's like the Pinky and the Brain, where they have all these plans, and then they just fail and fail and fail.
Yeah,
it's like
especially that other announcement they made this week that made a little worried.
What was that? What other announcement?
The one where they're teaming up with a Web3 company.
Right. So let's talk about that one next. So that one is a tentative W. So this what was it called? Portlandia or something? That is a tentative W. This next one, however. Oh no, it's called the Portopia serial murder case. Okay, so that was a tentative W. Let's look at the next Square Enix news. Alexa Games and Square Enix partner to boost Web3 gaming. Now, alarm bells straight away because Web3, right? So that's the first thing. So you're like, okay, deep breath. Let's take a look at this article. The leading Web3 gaming infrastructure program and video game giant join forces to drive mass adoption. That's a scary phrase, mass adoption during 2023. This is Madrid and this is today's date. Elixir Games, the leading Web3 gaming distribution platform, has announced the formation of a strategic partnership with Square Enix, focused on generating visibility and adoption of Web3 games among traditional gamers. That's another red flag right there. I'm going to tell you all my red flags. The partnerships will allow millions of gamers, red flag, to explore quality Web3 games through a platform that hides Web3 technology under the hood, red flag, and offers simple, seamless experience to the traditional gamer. Since 2021, the Elixir program, which I don't like that. First of all, that name sounds ominous. I don't like the name. Has been the leading PC game distributor for open Web3 space. Following a recent integration with Epic Games, Epic's involved in it? Elixir has factored in traditional gaming distribution and has become the leading distribution platform for Web 2 and Web 3 desktop titles. Web 2 is what they call what we have now. Through the partnership with Elixir, Square Enix continues to be at the forefront of global publishers adopting Web 3 in gaming, having previously indulged in investments and partnerships with key companies in the space. Yeah, they indulged in stuff, but what of it has paid off? Square Enix, who together with Sino Global Capital co-led Elixir Games' last fundraising seed round in December 2022, has put in place a strong Web3 gaming investment strategy with a belief that blockchain red flag will transition into a new growth stage in 2023. Red flag! That's a red flag as well! Hideaki Uehara, business development director at Square Enix, commented on today's news. This partnership with Elixir Games presents yet another step for Square Enix to explore the promise of Web3 decentralized gaming, red flag. Carlos Roldan, CEO of Elixir Games, added, "This partnership brings us closer to Web3 gaming mass adoption, red flag. Our team is incredibly excited to bring our technology to work and foresee Elixir users playing Web 2 and Web 3 games alike without distinction." That's a red flag as well. 2023 has already seen more industry leaders enter the space with impactful projects, and we anticipate to see more as the year progresses. We've put all efforts to ensure we are ready for scalability. Additional information on the partnership is expected to be announced in the coming months. Now, Kike, how many red flags did you count?
I think like 7 more.
So what are the red flags for you, and what, if any, could you see the potential non-evil things coming out of this partnership?
Potential non-evil?
Yes, that doesn't necessarily mean good, it just means non-evil.
They're still making games.
Okay, but they might be, bad.
Yeah, but I guess it's to be other things.
Square Enix has put out a load of duds as well. They make good games, but they've also put out duds as well. So
yeah, but at least they're not like we're quitting the game business and going only into NFTs. We're not even gonna. We're just gonna make it.
Is anyone saying? Is any? Or there isn't any. There isn't any, like, existing business that's saying that. They're all like these new companies that are saying, well, we're doing these Web3 games. With these Web3 games, they're all NFT type blockchain games. It's all involving using vast amounts of real money and gambling in a sense. And when it comes to the buying what you need to spend to participate in these type of NFT Web3 type games, by the way, it's not like normal microtransaction price. You need hundreds or thousands. Because how much? Because it's it costs 1 Ethereum or something like that. You know how much 1 Ethereum is worth? A lot. It's not worth. What's the price of 1 Ethereum? Kike, do you know? I'm gonna look it up. 1 Ethereum. Oh my god, is that really what it costs?
1,000. Yeah.
Holy crap! But the price has gone down. It just dropped off a cliff right here. What happened here?
It's still at 1,000.
It's going down and down and down and down and down and down. Is that just today? Oh, that's just today though. Let's look at. Oh no, altogether in the last month it's gone up, but then it dropped down again recently. Yeah, so it's £1,486, which is going to be more in dollars as well. This is just, I'm looking at pounds, obviously, so I'm in the UK. But it's a lot of money. So one thing says like, oh, it's just one Ethereum to play. Look at how much one Ethereum is worth. Okay, so let's see. J2 Blue Engage says the elixir I'm drinking is the ones. It's the ones in Kingdom Hearts. In Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy. What? Like is in like a health elixir thing. Is what you're drinking? I'm drinking Monster Energy Ultra. Please sponsor me, Monster. Please sponsor me. Please. Please. I would love to be sponsored by Monster. Sponsor me. Please. Mm. I need to get an audience first before they'll sponsor me. So, okay, J2 Blue Engage is drinking health potions. Good to know. So, I find it hard to see anything like what is coming out of this, because everything we've seen so far with these blockchain games, they're all money-making scams. I mean, you could say any, like, especially not even just a traditional game, but like a game with a load of microtransactions or a gacha game or something. You say they're money-making scams. True, they are. But the difference with those games is they're not using blockchain technology, right? So the first thing, in order to generate these NFTs and different blockchain, also to generate cryptocurrency and all that, it uses a vast amount of resources and energy to do that. Okay, you have to have just rooms and rooms filled of processors doing this, and it's an amount of energy required to do that, and it's because it's so energy wasteful, it is damaging to the environment. So there's environmental concerns with that, and so that's one thing. The other thing is that these games are the type of games that we're talking about, like mobile games and so on, normally free to play games, right? Well, these Web3 games are not. That's not how they work. Normally you need to buy in with these, like Ethereum or whatever. I don't know. Yeah. Are they? They're not normally free to play, or maybe they are free to play. But the whole point is.
Yeah, you buy whatever thing they have, either this creature, this house, this land.
And it costs. You have to pay in cryptocurrency. It's normally cryptocurrency. Yeah. So that game that they had before, the Symbiosis, or what was it called again?
Symbiosis.
I'm gonna look for it. Square Enix Symbiogenesis. I knew it had a dumb name. Symbiogenesis. Okay. Doubles down at NFTs. This is in March. Oh no. This is not what I want to look at. I want to look at the actual. Here's the actual website. Here's the actual site. Now, what does it say about what this? So they say I'm like, oh, I'm here. I want to spend my money. I'm going to spend money. So you need a wallet. So you can't even play this game without having a cryptocurrency wallet. You need a wallet to play.
Yeah.
So they're not free to play. That's not. Yeah, that doesn't mean free to play.
Yeah, it's not. It's weird because it's not like you're not paying the game, but you need to pay to enter the game.
You need to pay to enter the game. And to be honest with you, I don't know how you can call this. This is what you're on seeing here. We're zooming in like too much. This is the game. You have these things here that you tap. A thing like that will appear to tap, and this is how you play the game. It's just that. Because we did talk about this before. There's a semblance of a story there, but they're calling it NFT based entertainment. The translation on this is terrible, by the way. I don't know how. This. Look, blockchain, Ethereum and Polygon. Supported wallets, MetaMask, Wallet Connect, Web3 Auth. They want mass market adoption of people. I'm like, how? First of all, I feel like mass market, if that's really what they're going for, is what they're saying, I think it's pretty much impossible. Because you can't, it's not just any, a lot of, when you look at the games, these mobile games and things, a lot of the market is kids and younger people, under 18s. You need to be a certain age to even buy NFTs and blockchain and all this.
Yeah.
So how are you going to get mass market? What does that even mean? Well, it means that it's just adults only. Because you can't sell this stuff to kids. And like with like regular gats, they can get away with it because it's technically not legally gambling or anything like that. When it comes to these, kids can't buy this stuff. I don't think so. Can they buy Ethereum and all this?
No, because you need. I think in order for you to make a wallet, you need to.
Credit cards?
Yeah, you need like actual like money to get the wallet, to get the money, like the Ethereum or whatever, and then I think most wallets have that thing of like, hey, if you make a wallet, you're 18 or older or something.
Okay. So that's a limiting factor right there. So they want to. A lot of the people that play these games are under 18. We just need to face facts that they do. So, you know, it doesn't mean that that's where they're getting all the revenue from. They're getting some revenue from under 18s. Whether they should be playing those games or not is another thing, but they are. With this, I just can't see. Anyway, we looked at this before. So I think this is an L. I think this is an L.
Yeah.
Let's go next. So the 50-50 potential, no, it's not even 50-50, it's a potential W and a definite L. And then I was going to talk about another L, that's with the Octopath Traveler not doing it. Octopath Traveler 2 not doing anywhere close to the first game at all. It's been discounted already, but like
I think we're gonna have to wait until their financials for them to actually say how it did.
No, I think we know already. Because 1, the game's discounted already. 2, they have not announced the sales of this game. If this game had sold 1 million by now, they would have announced it. They did that with all the other Team Asano games when they hit milestones. And the first game sold 1 million in 3 weeks. I feel like if this game had sold 1 million, they would have announced it.
Yeah.
And it's discounted. Kika. Discounted. I bought a copy. I bought the PS5 Steelbook edition, which was still in stock when I bought it, like last week. It was still in stock. Which means people, and it was obviously like people always go for the Steelbook version before the regular one, right? That one was still in stock. I don't know if it's still in stock now, but it was at the time when I bought it, a week, just over a week ago. And that was discounted. That wasn't the full price. It was just like 10% off or something. I can't remember. It was like 10% off. I got a PS5 Steelbook edition. So, yeah. I don't think that game did too well. J2 Blue Engage says, Square Enix is the only company I know that has 50% L's and 50% W's. Is it 50-50 though, J2 Blue Engage? Is it really 50-50? That's what I ask you. Is it 50-50? Because they took a hell of a lot of L's recently. Let's hope. I know Kika has his own ideas, but let's hope that Final Fantasy 16 is a W for them. I think overall will be a W. Well, Kika...
I don't think it's gonna bomb overall. I just said Japan's gonna.
No, don't get me wrong. It's going to underperform in Japan. It's not going to sell less than 100k. That's what I don't understand. You've seen less than 100k first week. That's not going to happen, Kike. How is that going to be possible?
Well, I think
Less than 100k. That means you would have to sell less than. It would sell less than the PS5 SKU of Resident Evil 4, which sold 85 million or something like that. Not 85 million, 85,000. No, they wish it was 85 million. It's 85,000. You'd sell less than that. And less than Elden Ring. What did the PS5 SKU of Elden Ring sell, which is the highest selling one to date? It was like 90,000, wasn't it? Wasn't that 90,000 first week?
Yeah.
That's the highest selling PS5 SKU to date. When it comes to PS5 only games, they're way lower. I will admit that. But all those games were kind of trash as well. Alright? We had Forspoken. We had... which obviously that's a Square Enix L. Forspoken... what was the monster hunting... Oh, God. What was it called again? Wild Hearts. That's an L. For Koei Tecmo and EA. That bombed. What were the other ones? PS5 early games. Deathloop bombed in Japan. Ghostwire Tokyo bombed in Japan. I think those kind of bombed worldwide as well, to be honest with you. I don't know about Deathloop. Maybe Deathloop didn't bomb worldwide, but it bombed in Japan. I don't know how Ghostwire Tokyo did, but it bombed in Japan. Dirty Blue Engage says, you might be right, 75% L's and 25% W's. Oh no. Yeah, because it's like, they had a whole bunch of L's with the releases they had last year. Having to shut down a studio, L. Having to sell off a load of studios, L. Having to change your president, even though they try and claim, oh, it's got nothing to do with that, L. That's an L. We'll see how Airbus Kiryu-san worked out. Might be a W. We have to wait and see.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's kind of... It's hard to know, because he's just... All you know is that Crypto Bro stuff. So, it's like, but how... But in terms of, like, leading a company, what they're going to do. And then we're hearing more stuff about all this Web3 and da-da-da-da. So, yeah. Dank says they might have to hit the critical low to warrant a change for the better. What's the critical? The only critical low they could hit would be like Final Fantasy 16 flopping worldwide. That would be literally the only thing, and I don't think that's gonna flop.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna flop. Maybe if no, I don't, because the real measurement of flopping would be the moment Final Fantasy 14 stops.
No, that's not gonna happen. Right.
Yeah,
So that's not even gonna happen at all. It's almost impossible.
Well, that's like the one thing I would if that falls apart, then I know then
like literally there would have to be like their data centers would have to be firebombed. There's no other way for that to flop. Okay. Whilst we're on that, I want to get on to the last thing that I want to talk about today, because I can't keep going for much longer. I'm tired. So what I wanted to talk about, just segue again to Final Fantasy 16. So we're talking about this is about Final Fantasy 16 and its promotion in Japan. Now, this was interesting, and I have a couple of things that we're going to look at here. So this is one of the places that I look at from time to time. This is a blog by an independent video game store owner called naoyukigame.com. Okay? So I look at it from time to time, but because I'm just using Google Translate or whatever, I don't... you've got to take it with a pinch of salt, right? You can just take the general gist of what they're saying, but just to get like an overall gauge of what's going on. The one thing that I said recently, that the author of this blog said recently was interesting. Now, could use the Google Translate, but what I'm going to do, I used earlier, I did prepare this, so let's see if did I have the link here? I prepared. Where's it gone? Oh yeah, I did prepare. Can't say I didn't, because it's here. Now, I prepared a better translation than Google Translate that I did via DeepL. But let's look at this so we can see the images. So here's the image, the promotional, this is the dummy box, the cover for the dummy box that they have in the stores. So it's a cover of the dummy box. The real thing won't have all the dates and all this all over it, obviously. And then there's this image here which we'll look at, and then here's the this is the 4K version of the recent state of play. So let's look at the and ignore whatever's happening in that manga down the side. Let's not look at that. Let's let's look at this. So they're talking about the promotional material. So this is an independent video game store. It's not part of a chain. One second. Hopefully I can talk. Hopefully I can say this before I lose my voice. Okay. Final Fantasy 16 will release on 22nd of June. There's one thing that's clearly different for us from the previous Final Fantasy games. It's the amount of publicity. The level of promotional material for Final Fantasy 16 is unimaginably quiet compared to the previous Final Fantasy series. And is this a little small? I'm going to make this a little larger so people can see. Okay, so actually I did touch on this here. The level of promotional material for Final Fantasy 16 is unimaginably quiet compared to the previous Final Fantasy series. If you go to a major mass retailer, you can certainly see shops with dedicated fixtures, but in a shop like ours, not even the posters have arrived yet. Even though there are only 2 months left until the release of the game, normally, with such a big title, posters, monitor pop-ups, etc. would have arrived months before the release. 2 months before the release, the order is placed, but that's not the case. So those who have pre-ordered at this point are the regulars who have been following the series with great enthusiasm. Of course, this includes those who pre-ordered with the PS5 console the other day. So I guess they've gone in and they've bought the console and the game. But that's all. I wonder if this situation is only individual or independent shops like us, or if it's like that in shops all over the country. I'm curious. Well, but as far as Final Fantasy 16 is concerned, I still think there's a lack of sales promotion. Until now, the PlayStation hardware has also been involved in sales promotion. And then, so I'm going to show this image because they're referring to this image, like something like this. They're referring to what's above. So that is this image here, which can I enlarge this? Oh god, I don't know. Can I? Hang on, open image in new tab. Can I enlarge? Oh, I can't enlarge. But anyway, that's the biggest I can have it. It's just the image is just promoting multiple games. So there's like 7 games in this image. This was back on the PlayStation 4. You got God Eater 2, Biohazard Revelations 2, Dragon Quest Heroes, Yakuza 0. I think that's Final Fantasy. I can't even see what that says. I think that's Final Fantasy Type 0, or what is that? Is that Type 0? Pirate Warriors 3 and Bloodborne. Okay, so that's what's on here in the image. And then it says something in that I can't read in Japanese. So yeah, and that's what it says there. So they're referring to that basically. The large shipments that have continued since the end of the year, now I think they're referring to the hardware, and a big hit of Hogwarts Legacy are putting us in a tailwind mood, but we have to advertise at this time. We need to promote it at this time. So this is translated by DeepL, which is better than Google Translate, but it is still a machine translation. Take it with a pinch of salt. There's things where it says like it's using a we, and like I think this is like I think it means they need to promote it. Or yeah, it messes up things like that. But the general gist is, even if we can't take it word for word, the general gist is that this independent video game store owner is saying they have not received in-store promotional materials from Square Enix. They're saying posters and pop-ups and all sorts of things, such as, now where's that Twitter. What's it? What is it now? Hold up. I saved an image. Where's that image I saved? Did I not save it here? Not save one? Oh, it's this one here. Such as like this. Now, this was taken by Andy Robertson here, but this is a big camera in Akihabara, which is in Tokyo. So this is one of the big stores, right? The store's enormous. And it's not just video games; it's all sorts of electronics and stuff. But this is the video games section. So we got the Switch section. Here's the PlayStation section, and then the very tiny Xbox section. But what I want to point out here is this image, because we can see here there are Final Fantasy 16 promotional material in this store. We can see posters hanging up. There's multiple of them. There's loads of them. I can count at least 4 in this image taken from this angle, or 5 if you count a little one in the background as well, that I can see from this angle. There's probably loads more other angles that I can't see. But this is a big chain. When was this taken? This was earlier this month. So it's not that long ago. So maybe they're sending stuff out to big stores, because if this independent game store had posters like this, I don't think they would have written that blog. Can you see what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think they would have written the blog if they had these posters, these in-store posters. I think they're saying they literally haven't received them. Now, at this time, when this was written... There's a date on here? There's a date. Okay, this was written on the 21st. Well, it was there. It's literally just written. It says the 21st. Was obviously Japan time, so it could have been like 24 hours ago. But yeah, this was written within, the last day. So yeah. So it means this now, and this in this store was like a couple of weeks ago. It was a couple of weeks ago in this store. Where's the picture gone again? This was a couple of weeks ago in a big chain. Big Camera is a really big chain of stores across the whole of Japan. But this is one of the biggest stores. It's in Akihabara in Tokyo. So it's one of the big, meccas for electronics and, just general otaku stuff as well. So, yeah, it's now why Square Enix have not sent stuff out to like small independent stores is beyond me. But they're kind of missing a trick if that's what they've done. If that's really what's happening, this is only one store. It could be just this store doesn't have it. He's saying he doesn't have it. So hang on, what did it say? A store like us, not even posters have arrived yet. They're saying posters have not arrived. So in order to have this promotional material, they have to receive this stuff from the publisher. They're saying 2 months between release. Now, when I read this before, I really thought about it, and then I remembered that I'd seen that image from Andy Robinson. When I first saw this, I thought, oh, well, maybe it is all stores. I don't know. Because I think they said that they might. I think there's in this blog it says that there's probably stuff in other stores. But I remember, no, I'd seen it myself. There is stuff. So I don't know, man. There has been. I believe there is Final Fantasy 16. There's a state of play, but are there actual commercials airing in Japan? I don't know. Are there commercials airing in Japan for this yet? I mean, the game is 2 months out. It's literally almost 2 months to the day.
We don't even have commercials over here, so.
No, that's true. There's none here either. No, that's true.
Japan just got Breath of the Wild. Not Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom commercials.
Yes, they got Tears of the Oh my god, I can't talk either. It's been a long stream, Kike. Tears of the Kingdom last night.
Yeah, how many days are we apart? 1, 2.
It's like
3 weeks.
3 weeks away. So there's still time. The difference is though, we're talking about in-store materials. in-store posters and things like that. Having in-store posters and stuff is not going to interfere with like other like advertising campaigns that are on the internet or on TV or stuff like that, because you can quite clearly see that they have done it for this big store right here. They have them. They're in the store. They're right there. So why is Square Enix not sending this stuff out to the smaller stores? I don't know. Maybe it's just this store. I don't know. But I thought that it was worth pointing. I thought it was interesting and worth pointing out that even if it's just one store, a few stores, like how are they missing stuff? Because they're saying that they would have had the previous Final Fantasy games. They had all this stuff way in advance. So I don't know. I think it might just be they have not. I think this was a couple of weeks ago, right? Yeah, so this picture was posted a couple of weeks ago. So I don't know. I feel like all stores should have this stuff in the store from ages ago. They should have had this Final Fantasy posters and stuff. But anyway, they have them in the big stores, but not this particular independent, or you want to call it a mom and pop store, as they call it in the States. That's basically the type of store it is. It's a small independent video game store. Saying that they don't have the materials. So, that's why I put in my title of this stream, Square Enix taking L's. Now, we did say that AI game, based on an old adventure game, is a potential W. Right? Then we said that the Web3 thing is a definite L. This is an L as well. That's why overall it's L's. Right? Now that's why I put taking L's. But I did put a question mark, because that's what we're going to decide on the show. But it's L's. There's multiple L's. So Square Enix, sort yourself out. You need to stop taking L's. And prove Kike wrong. Prove that Final Fantasy 16 can sell more than 100k opening week in Japan. Please, Square Enix. I need install-based bucks. Don't make me lose. I'm pretty confident of this getting on this install. I'm so confident that in fact that I can't, because I thought I could do that bet with other people, because we've had Mousy who's gone onto the less than 100k train for whatever reason. But if I feel like I would probably get banned from it if I made a bet like that with Mousy. Made that because with you and I we only put in 100 install-based bucks. But I said to Mousy, put all 2,000 in install-based, but I would know they would clamp down on me. I'd get banned for gaming the system because they would know there's no way, because they know, the mods there know that it's not going to sell less than 100k. They'd be like, no, you're just trying to get all these install-based bucks. You're clearly doing that to get install-based bucks. I don't want to be banned from install-base. They will ban me if I make that bet with Mousy. 2,000 install-based bucks. She said she doesn't even want the install-based bucks. If I made that bet, I would get banned. So I'm not gonna make that bet. And then there was someone else that came. What was a new member of our Discord who came in the other day and said it's gonna sell 1 million in like a month. And I'm like, no, it's not. Who's our new member? Kike. I've forgotten their name. I apologise. Look at the stream. Oh, here we go. DMTGD. So when you have just like letters, it's like KR on the install base. When you have just letters in your name, I can never remember it. Okay, and they said it's gonna sell, and I'm like, no, there's like literally it's less than 0 chance of that happening. It's more chance of it selling less than 100k than it's selling 1 million. I don't even know whether it would have to sell more than the past 2 combined. If you say it would launch at 1 million, that means it would be way higher than that. The actual lifetime sales, and then when you add in digital, it'd be even higher. It's like there's no chance of that happening. It's like it's impossible, basically. But the truth is always somewhere in the middle. Although I think it's closer to 100k than 1 million. Like I said, I think it could go up to 300k. We'll have to wait and see how the pre-orders kind of go up towards as we get closer to release date. I think at the moment, I think that honestly, I think the promotion of Tears of the Kingdom is taking up a lot of the oxygen of just everything. It's just getting stomped on, just everything. So I think that's might be. I don't know if it's going to be a huge issue by the time, because there's like at least a month between the two games. So by the time Final Fantasy 16 comes out, it'll probably be fine. But right now, if they wanted to say, right, we're going to start our mass promotion right now, that would not be a good idea. So it's best to wait, because I think anyway, their mass promotion is going to start like a week or two after Tears of the Kingdom has been out. So I think it's going to start. So we've got a month. Yeah, it'll start like first week of June. Yeah, first week of June.
Maybe the last week of May, but yeah, probably.
Or maybe not first week of June. Or maybe last week of May. Not first week of June. Last week of May. You're right. Something like the last week of May.
Yeah, somewhere around that.
Because it's out on the 22nd, so yeah, no. Yeah, you're right. It'll start like late May.
Tears of the Kingdom will be out, and then a couple of time will be out.
Yeah, there's enough time in between. But it doesn't make sense to start. I don't know any game that would start mass promotion like that this early. When it comes to the online ads and TV commercials and stuff. But really, this was about in-store commercials and about how they. Maybe we'll have to wait and see. I'm gonna wait and see if there's an update from Narubo or Naruvo, whatever what do they call themselves? Is it Narubo or I guess Naruvo? If you know Narubo, yeah, I don't know. I guess you'd say Narubo and if you anglicized it, but. Or Naruvo or something. But yeah, it's just like I'll wait and see if there's like updates on when they're getting these materials and stuff like that. So I thought that was interesting of this blog. Again, I look at this from time to time, but just have to take it a pinch of salt because of the fact I'm having to use a machine translation.
Mm-hmm.
But the general gist of it is correct, that they haven't got these materials. They're saying they haven't got them. I think that part is correct. I don't think the translation is that messed up. I think that bit's fine. So that's all I wanted to say. Right, so I think we can start wrapping up the show. Now, we didn't cover everything. I don't think we covered absolutely every single topic. But it's about that time. Most of them?
Yeah. I think we did pretty good.
Yeah. It's pretty much all of them. And in under 4 hours. Wonderful. So if we don't count the pre-show, the pre-show is not going to go on for that long. That's the first and only time that's happening. So let's put on our Final Fantasy lo-fi.
Yeah, I'm gonna start signing out too.
Kike, thank you for joining me. You really saved me, saved my bacon. When I felt like I was about to end the show. If you didn't come on, I would have ended the show. I'm not even joking. So thank you so much, Kike. Thank you for everyone that joined us today. Thank you to... hang on, I didn't see these comments here. Oh no. Wait, hang on, there's some more Mousy says, I'm back, Jodie's still... Well, Jodie's going now. Pablo, are you new? Pablo 23X. Nice to meet you. I don't believe I've seen you before. I thought you knew the Japanese language, and it seems you don't know a lot of things about Japan market. Well, obviously, no, I don't know everything about the Japanese market. I've never claimed I do. There's things I don't know. I'm studying Japanese, so I know some Japanese, but I can't read like text like this. Pablo, like I can't straight up read. Do you know how many kanji that you have to learn everything in order to be able to read? Just straight up read this. It's over 2,000 kanji. When it comes to just like the hiragana and katakana, I can read that. But if you read that, you're still functionally illiterate if you don't know kanji. So that's why I can't read it. I'm studying Japanese. So, you know, but what I know is not enough to read this, no. And I've never claimed that I can read Japanese. You know? But I think because I'm learning it, I can I can see when something has been completely garbled in the translation. Like when they've garbled something and they've put like where it says in this translation, oh, we are doing it. I'm like, well, it probably doesn't say that because in Japanese you don't like use a lot of pronouns and something. And then why would this person be saying we when they're not part of Square Enix? So I can tell that that's garbled. So yeah, I can tell things like that, but I don't claim to read it. I don't think that just because I can't read Japanese, that means I can't comment on I shouldn't comment on the Japanese market or whatever. I'm like, no, I do know a good few things about the Japanese market. I don't know everything, obviously not. You know, I'm not here studying. This show is for entertainment. We do this for entertainment, to talk about it, to come together. What is this stupid thing popping up here? Sorry, it's my antivirus program. I was like, what is that? It seems you don't know a lot of things about the Japanese market. Okay, Pablo, you know, that's your opinion. You know, you could go and look at another show where they do know more about the Japanese market. You could do that. J2 Blue Engage, Square scoring an L out of 10. You hate to see it. Yeah. Mousy says Team sub 100k. It's not going to be I don't know what. Kike, look what you started now. J2 Blue Engage says maybe Torgoat will save Square Enix. Torgoat is gonna save. Final Fantasy 16 will be fine. I think Torgoat enhances the game, if anything, because it's, you know, the dog fighting. I think it's meant to be a wolf actually, but yeah. Okay, thank you very much everyone. I hope you enjoyed the outro as we... Hang on, I keep forgetting to... Kike, you made me forget. Well, you didn't remind me. I need to use this stream ending thing. There we go. Stream ending. Oh, did they fix... Oh no, they didn't fix it. I thought they fixed this thing in... It's so annoying that you can't chat... Anyway, I'm just complaining about Streamlabs. Thank you everyone, and we'll catch you on the next show. Bye-bye. Say bye.